Pan American championships, national champion in every single age category that he's ever competed in. You know, the thing with mixed martial arts, though, he said, is that the base is a little lower in wrestling, so I had to find myself elevating the core to strike and be effective in the stand-up. So even though he's got all the wrestling accolades underneath the sun, Scott, he's still developing as a mixed martial artist.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be really curious to see how he deals with this layoff. Going back over 14 months or so since he fought last, so there's something for us to take a look at as the fight goes on in terms of the cardio.
Right, you think maybe some ring rust, but these young kids are just so flexible that it really doesn't matter if they're out there for a month or 12. At 26, he's probably going to pop back in here and look fresher than ever. And, you know, Mustafa Muhammad had a lot to say about the relationship, but when we asked Nick Paez about, you know, the lineage between these two, he didn't have much to say. He said, I taught the guy many years ago, but I'm going to get a first-round finish. That's the strategy.
Yeah, well, and you know, you made me realize, Bane, the layoff is something that a 58-year-old lawyer would say and be concerned about. Obviously not concerned for him.
One big thing about Nick Paez is the affiliation with Freddie Serrano. Truly one of the best guys to have, just like Mustafa does. Here he is, Nick Paez, the wrestling accoladed martial artist, taking on his former student here in the Burger King Arena.
Yeah. The fighting has been impressive tonight, but I'll tell you what, the other thing, Ben, that's been impressive is the ink that we've seen.
We take it to the Burger King, Taylor, that's 8. Bogota on both sides, 3-4 for Mustafa Muhammad, 3-2 for Nick Paez. 8 years separate them. We set it inside to Denier.
Escuche bien. En la esquina azul, desde Bogotá, con un peso de 65.7 kilogramos. 35 años de edad, una altura 1,70 m, un récord, 3 victorias, 4 derrotas, 0 empates, representando a su propia academia. Escúchalo bien, Mustafa Muhammad. Y en la esquina roja, un león hambriento. Y esta noche vino a cazar. También de la capital de Colombia. 65.7 kilogramos. 27 años de edad. 1,68 m de estatura. Récord. 3 victorias. 2 derrotas, 0 empates, representando al club Equipo Serrano. Él es Nicolás Paez. Indicaciones técnicas.
Que es una pelea limpia, si les pido que paren, deben de parar, si les pido que trabajen, deben trabajar. Choque, guantes y van a chocar y a sus esquinas.
Señores, preparados para la carnicería que se viene.
So once again, third man inside the octagon, Nick Paez takes on former student Mustafa Muhammad in the yellow and black trunks with the blue gloves. Nick Paez in the red and black with the red gloves. You can see already feinting the level change. Attempt right there. Mustafa trying that left hook. Nothing going, though.
You know, you look at Paez's last 2 fights, he won in the first round. Both fights, so it'll be interesting to see how this develops.
Hey, he said that's the game plan this time, wants to end it within 5 minutes, but Mustafa Muhammad, a tough customer with that length and size, but wrestling again reigns supreme, deep into side control. Horrible position for Mustafa Muhammad 30 seconds in.
Yeah, tough place for Aguilo de Lee.
I gotta make the note. You know, he said to us, please call me Mustafa Muhammad. It does say Juan Angulo. Sorry, Mustafa. I'm gonna carry your wishes. Nick Paez, though, wants to carry some hammers into his dome. Mustafa pops back up. We'll see for how long. Excellent shot there.
Nice shot there by Anguilla. Looked like Paez was...
Oh, massive knees! Mustafa framing Paez. Seems like he's a little bit discombobulated. Muhammad on the offensive. Paez playing defense right now, Scott.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Paez seemed content to let Mustafa get back up off the ground. And now he's paying the price.
Seems like he's already breathing kind of heavy. Nick Paez, a minute and a half in. Maybe didn't expect durability from Mustafa Muhammad. I will say Muhammad going to that left hook early and often.
And Paez, he looks like he's breathing hard, and he needs to be careful to not get caught with a bomb from Mustafa.
Some gamesmanship moments ago from Mustafa as he evades that left from Nick Paez. Massive knee connects, but Paez unaffected. Excellent work, jockeying for position. Another knee connects upstairs.
Mustafa's so much more active.
Oh, bit of a connection here. Mustafa trying to walk backwards, protest something, but Petrona doesn't see it. Paez now in a position to capitalize. There's an elbow.
Another elbow. Oh, another
and a
elbow.
third. Wow, Mustafa Muhammad seemed like he was maybe taking the driver's seat, but now he's busted open against the cage.
And he's bleeding pretty good.
Oh
my God.
That's it, he's done. A delayed knockout. Mustafa Muhammad submits by TKO to Nick Paez. Something just turned off inside him. Wow.
And he hasn't moved.
Let's definitely get some attention on Mustafa as we take a look at that replay. Some framing. Elbows just discombobulated him, and Nick Paez took full advantage.
That was an interesting sequence because we didn't see Mustafa really get hit.
Well, it had shades of Edson Barboza and Shane Burgos, where Burgos had that delayed TKO fall against the cage. We cut away from that before the knockout, but there he is in the, I believe it's called a, I don't want to butcher the name of the hat. I've heard it many times, but I'm just drawing a blank on it.
Well, you know,
a papaka?
I'm not sure what it's called, but you know, Christmas is around the corner, Bane, and I think it'd look good with your turtleneck.
Listen, I have not earned the right to wear the Dagestan signature headpiece.
You know, getting back to the fight, Mustafa, he took those tough 3 elbows in a row, as you said, when he was struggling, discombobulated. It was just too much for him to deal with.
Would love to see that finishing sequence and that delayed reaction, because, you know, you never want to see that from a fighter. Their body just kind of shuts off. But Nick Paez taking out his former student in the first round. He said, I'm getting it done within 5, and he delivered on that promise.
Yeah, and Mustafa's still not moving all that much in the cage. I think he's okay, but I think he's obviously really, really shaken up.
He's got the medical team firmly around him. They're hoisting the legs to get the blood flow.
Yeah, it looks like they're lifting his legs up, trying to give him a little bit more blood down to his organs.
They've lifted him into a sitting position. Here it is once again. Elbow over the top and just touching the temple. And
right
that was
there.
it. Mustafa shut off. Wow, what an interesting stoppage.
Well, we see a lot of times in these fights, those elbows are brutal because they're a lot of leverage, a lot of force, and they tend to cut open skin very easily.
Especially when you got a wrestler that's throwing them. I mean, the torque and the rotation in the hips that Nick Paez can generate is remarkable in those just really close positions.
Yeah, well, you've thrown a couple elbows at me that cut me as well.
Medical's team still firmly on Mustafa Muhammad. He is conscious.
Yeah, he is. He's sitting up for everybody at home, as you can see. But surprised that he's been down this long.
You know, hey, getting knocked out's a discombobulating thing. I'll tell you from firsthand experience. You know, 1 second you're up, the next second you're down. Mustafa Muhammad just, I think, coming back. Yeah, now communicating with the referee. There's a smile on his face. That's good to see. Here he is, getting back to his feet, Mustafa Muhammad. Unfortunately, this fight belongs to Nick Paez.
So we talked about the storyline with Paez. He hadn't fought in 14 months and didn't look like that at all. He was very strong.
Sometimes a layoff means that you're plateauing or degenerating, but oftentimes it's just you're getting better and you're focusing on more tools. Here is the full fight replay. You could see Mustafa trying that left hook so much, but just wasn't able to find the range on it. I love the knees off of this frame, but ultimately inside that phone booth, the damage all was from Paez.
I think, you know, Mustafa just didn't defend himself as well as he needed to.
We send it inside to Denier to make that first round TKO official.
Paez actually looks a little bit like Nurmagomedov.
Couple more tattoos.
Ganador de nuestra tercera pelea profesional en el Empire, séptima versión, por nocaut, Nicolás Paez.
Simply doesn't get better than that.
A Mustafa Mohamed y a todo su equipo. Un gran aplauso.
You can see Hector Castro inside the ring there, helping Mustafa Muhammad out of it. He is walking on his own two legs, getting some assistance down the stairs.
Para el plato fuerte de la noche. Si eso.
This next fight of the night, an absolute banger. Some would say this is the battle of the sexiest man in Bogota. That's how it's been billed between Jesus El Dragon Castillo and Francisco Hernandez. I'm very excited for this one. Nick Paez still inside the octagon, unsure if we're just going to make him a permanent resident there. And they're bringing in Alejandra Laura for a post-fight interview.
Fue una pelea difícil, cada cual tuvo sus momentos. Hubo un momento en el que tenías un gran control, se notó tu campamento, tu lucha tan impecable, pero decidiste llevar la pelea de pie.
Bueno, primero que nada quiero agradecer a Empire, al profe Freddy por tenerme en cuenta. Segundo, a mi prometida Juanita, gracias por estar acá. Esta vez tengo esto puesto porque vengo de un campamento de un mes en Rusia. Quise hacer un homenaje a mi gran ídolo que es Khabib. No quería trabajar la pelea en el piso. Quiero demostrar que soy mucho más peleador que solo tener la lucha y controlar en el suelo.
¿Cuál ha sido tu principal apoyo y qué significa para ti haber ganado esta pelea hoy?
Hace menos de un mes vengo de competir en los Juegos Nacionales. No me fue muy bien y quería terminar el año con alguna victoria. Entonces creo que esto es un granito de arena que me motiva.
Claramente tienes mucho apoyo aquí en tu ciudad, tienes gente que te respalda. ¿Qué esperamos de ti, de Nico, en el futuro? ¿Qué quieres y qué sacas de esta pelea para trabajar?
Bueno, el otro año voy a estar un poco más activo en artes marciales. Quiero pelear con el que me pongan. No escojo rival, solo me dedico a hacer mi trabajo en la jaula. Y van a ver un peleador muy versátil.
Muchas gracias, Nico. Felicidades.
Next fight of the night, again, certainly going to be a bar burner between Jesus Castillo and Francisco Hernandez. Castillo, really impressive, 4-0 as a professional, 8-2 as an amateur, multiple championships here in Colombia. Francisco Hernandez on the other side of the coin, equally as successful, 3-1, but he is coming off of a massive first-round flying knee of Luis Rincon, who was 6-2 as a pro and on a decent win streak. So, you know, talking about the matchmaking that Freddie Serrano's done, this is an excellent example of that.
Which one of these guys is the best looking guy in Bogota?
Fue consciente, fue una preparación muy integral con la Federación de la Liga Norte Santanderiana de Karate y con mi entrenador y manager Andrés Gómez, el cual pues nos estuvimos preparando durante un buen tiempo. Bueno, que la dé toda, yo voy a darla toda y que espero que sea una pelea muy buena, rígida, que se vayan los 3 asaltos, pues la idea es dar un buen espectáculo y nada, que le dé con toda, que yo voy a ir con toda.
La preparación para esta pelea fue muy intensa, hicimos un campamento durísimo con el profe Michael, con todos los de la Academia MMA Colombia, la dimos toda en este campamento. A mi oponente le digo que entre con toda, yo voy con toda, a mí me gusta pelear duro, entonces espero que él pelee duro, que esté bien preparado porque va a ser una excelente pelea.
Truly a fun spectacle that we have here. Now making his way to the cage, it's the Dragon, 24 years young, Jesus Castillo, who says that, listen, I'm a striker by trade, but everybody wants to keep taking me down. That's why I have so many submissions in my career, 10 in total. A lot of them guillotines. All 4 of his pro wins are finishes. I spent a lot of time talking with him and his manager this week, and they've got big plans. I mean, kid's got aspirations. You can see he's in the full gi. Does have the white belt on. Unsure if that's just some gamesmanship, Scott.
Yeah, who knows? Both these guys are the best looking guys in Bogota. He gets it done on the ground in a lot of different ways. And we'll look for more of that tonight. I think we know what his game plan's going to be. It's going to be a takedown as soon as he sees the opening.
14 years of training in combat sports from Cucuta on the border of Venezuela. He started in 2008 with one of the local leagues because his family just wanted him to be active and he liked combat sports. So he began in karate and now says he's pursuing pro boxing. So again, to reiterate, a kid who thinks that he's got nothing but a big future and up until this point has delivered on that. Outside of the cage, he works as a volunteer EMT, is a physical trainer, and is currently studying, not necessarily a specific major, but taking corroborating classes with his current pursuits, just so that he's more informed on them, which, you know, hey, as a college graduate myself, I like to see that.
It looks like he spends a lot of time with the ab roller as well.
I mean, he's trim, man. Again, that's why Hector and a lot of the people here at this promotion are calling this the battle of the best looking dudes in Bogota. And, you know, while we have harped on the physiques, I do think it's important to emphasize their striking prowess as well. I mean, well-rounded, lots of power in both hands. Jesus Castillo competed in the equivalent of the Golden Gloves here in Colombia. Now here he is, making the Empire Mixed Martial Arts debut.
Well, there can't be any question whether he's in shape. He certainly is.
Opposite Jesus Castillo is Empire Mixed Martial Arts staple Francisco Hernandez, born in Medellin, Colombia, training out of MMA Colombia, currently riding 2 first-round stoppages. And Hector Castro, the one over Luis Rincon in July at Empire 5, was unbelievable.
Yeah, I do want Rincon in that fight. He's a veteran. He's a really good fighter here in Colombia. It was a great test for Francisco. And, you know, it was an interesting fight because up to that point, he had been out-wrestled by Francisco. So I was actually very impressed when he was expecting a takedown attempt and caught him a flying knee. So, I mean, it's one of those things where Francisco is a very, very impressive fighter. He considers himself one of the top prospects. I would probably have to agree with him in this weight class in Colombia a lot. But you know what? This is like the battle of the babes, this fight, man. I mean, like this fight here is going to determine who's the best-looking man in this weight class.
Was there a photo shoot before the fight?
Yeah, we had a photo shoot. I mean, there was like a massage session. There was more on that later. But my whole point is that these are two fighters. But I mean, like, hey, pinup models as well. I mean, we got to do some marketing here.
Listen, this broadcast booth's getting kind of interesting, but we'll say the cover of GQ next month is on the line. Francisco Hernandez has been a pro since February of 2018, but has only had 4 fights. I think that speaks to the fact that nobody wants to tango with this guy by virtue of how dangerous he is. Here he is for the 3rd time in Empire Mixed Martial Arts, Francisco Hernandez. We take it to the Burger King tail of the tape from Cúcuta, Venezuela, Jesus Castillo, and Medellin, Colombia, Francisco Hernandez. Castillo perfect at 4-0. Hernandez 3-1-2. 3 years separate them, and slightly pronounced in height is Francisco, who represents MMA Colombia, and Castillo out of Delta Training Center. We set it inside to Tanir to get this fight underway.
Muy medida. Permítame presentarles desde Cúcuta, con un peso de 67 kilogramos, 24 años de edad, 1,70 m de estatura, un récord de 4 victorias, 0 derrotas, 0 empates, representando a la Academia Delta Training Camp. Él es Jesús el Dragón Castillo. Y desde la ciudad de Medellín, la eterna primavera, con 67 kilogramos, 27 años de edad, una estatura de 1,73 m, un récord de 3 victorias, 1 derrota, 0 empates, representando a la MMA Colombia con una precisión quirúrgica. Él es Francisco el Cirujano Hernández. Señores, pelea digna de apuesta. Pilas con lo que se viene. Indicaciones técnicas.
Chicos, ya saben las reglas, quiero una pelea limpia. Si les pido que trabajen, deben trabajar. Si les pido que paren, deben de parar. Choquen guantes y van a chocar. Y a sus esquinas.
No despeguen sus ojos del octágono.
Pontero Valencia, 3rd man inside the octagon. This one has got heat written all over it. Jesus Castillo, a bundle of energy. Francisco Hernandez, though, looks so intimidating. Castillo opens up with a big, wily strike.
Great footwork by Hernandez to get out of the way. That was a pretty aggressive front kick.
Castillo wanting to waste no time. He certainly doesn't get paid by the hour. Massive leg kick from Francisco. You see with that really extended base, the leg kicks are there for Francisco.
This is going to be, like I said, this fight card is stacked, man. I mean, I wasn't lying about this. This is a hell of a fight here. Bacho, which is Francisco, Francisco, he's known for his wrestling in Medellin, and he's been very aggressive with it in the last 2 fights. He had a couple very impressive takedowns. Castillo, but they're both strikers as well. Castillo is also a good striker, so I'm interested to see how this fight plays out. Castillo's very confident. If it goes to the ground, he's going to be able to get a sub. I don't know about this one. This is going to be a hell of a fight.
Every single pro fight Jesus Castillo has had, he has won by way of submission. If I'm Francisco Hernandez, I'm taking my time to get it down to the mat. I'm not letting this guy have all his energy and stamina and hit the canvas, Scott.
No, I agree.
Well, beautiful takedown right there.
Bit of a lateral drop there from Hernandez. Now in side control here. Jesus Castillo just trying to limit the posture.
I don't know if Castillo's fought a fighter like Hernandez yet, so that's why I'm interested to see. This is a great test.
I'd agree with that as well. You know, he's been quite active, 8-2 as an amateur, 4-0 as a professional, but the caliber of competition, I would say Francisco's had a bit of a tougher schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Duvan Rincon he just fought recently in a local promotion and won. So I mean, like I said, he's fought some better competition. So I'm interested to see. Like I said, this is a great fight. Both fighters have winning records. I'm looking to see how this all plays out. But right now, Francisco's getting looks like a dominant position and taking care of business right now.
He's just taking his time. I mean, wasting no real inches here, just sticking to Jesus Castillo and looking for an opportunity to bring that right leg out and potentially over. There's a shot on the inside. Castillo, though, same thing. I mean, just really trying to limit, trying to neutralize damage.
He's got so far solid jiu-jitsu defending. So I mean, so far so good.
Castillo briefly bridging. There's a knee to the midsection. He's crafty, he's fun, and Hector, we spent a lot of time again talking to him and his manager, and it feels like they've just got really good heads on their shoulders.
Yeah, I mean they understand the game, they understand the process. His manager in corner, Andres, he's been around the block. He works with very few fighters, and he supports them though. Has his own little promotion. So I mean, they know how this business is run. They know what they need to progress in this game. So like I said, I'm for this particular fight. I mean. Dragon Castillo hasn't been seen a lot, so like this is a first big promotion that he's going to get exposure to. So, gave up his back right there. Yeah. Both hooks in.
Rolls over, but armbar potentially from Francisco. 2 minutes on the clock. That's deep. Jesus Castillo trying to fight potentially through it. That is deep and it is nasty.
That looks
Dragon
close, but he might have
rolling. Hernandez winds up in full mount here. I mean, geez, those ligaments look busted, Scott.
Yeah,
it looked like he tapped for a second. He had his hand close to him. I thought that was a tap. Then Francisco looked like he was going to go for a triangle choke, but then he just decided to go for a mount instead.
Castillo seems comfortable on the ground, and he seems to be
not in this position. Not
here, but
not here.
but he
full
also
minute 30.
Yeah.
The only good thing that Castillo has going for him is that he's right in front of his corner, so he can listen. But you don't want to be in this position with Pacho.
A lot of constant bridging from Castillo, but again, when Francisco is that high up on the chest, it's really not affecting him, and especially with the fence right there. I mean, Francisco's just going to bounce right off of it and retain the position.
Francisco's got to get to work. He's got a minute left. He's got a dominant position.
Castillo!
What a reversal.
Showing the grappling accolades. 60 seconds to go now on top and just rubbing the forehead into the chin. Again, we talked about this kid. He's got 10 submissions inside his career. He is well versed on the ground, even if maybe this is his biggest challenge to date.
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying he looked comfortable in the position that he was. To your point, Hector, which wasn't a good position, but he certainly didn't panic.
Looks like he's sneaking in some headbutts in there.
I know, yeah. It's a little bit too much force for just some John. Now trying to build a bit of a base. But Francisco Hernandez, I mean, the expression has not changed on this guy. You could tell me that he's wearing a mask, and I would probably believe you, Hector.
Yeah, Castillo's got to get to work here. Pacho's been doing a great job of neutralizing him, keeping him from working. Referees has already warned him a couple times.
Once again, just
nice reversal.
Beautiful work.
Caught him with an elbow as well.
Nice elbow.
Ooh, another big punch. Some great ground and pound here by Francisco Hernandez.
Final 5 seconds. Castillo bucks out, but it was a big round for Francisco Hernandez. Let's take it to the lawyer's perspective. Scott Davis, first round highlights. Here we go.
Well, it was amazing that Castillo was able to get out of that armbar. And we'll see what he brings in the second round, but he's going to need a lot more than what he just showed.
I mean, Your Honor, I disagree. No, I'm just kidding. But I think like I said, I think the caliber of opponent is coming. Like I said, I think he was been surprised with Francisco's ground game. Because he was very confident in his ground game yesterday, and Francisco hasn't given him that opportunity. Castillo has had his moments, that nice reversal. He's had a couple nice opportunities, but very little, and he's been kind of dominated right now so far.
Oh yeah,
a lot of deep, heavy breathing in the corner of Francisco Hernandez. They are very conscious of the gas tank and the stamina. I like to see that from young fighters. In Castillo's corner, seemed a little bit not as energetic as he was in round one, but I mean, this kid still got some pop in his step.
Francisco looks very comfortable, breathing well. So I mean, and I wouldn't say Castillo's breathing heavy, but he definitely looks a little. I don't know how to describe it, but he definitely looks a little different here. But let's see.
Southpaw open for Hernandez, orthodox for Castillo. Castillo didn't want to touch gloves. I mean, I didn't think that there was that much bad blood or hostility here. Oh, excellent kick from Francisco Hernandez.
I think it's he scouted Castillo a little bit, and I think what Castillo does is that he does like that front kick, so he's not giving him that opportunity.
Ooh.
He's not giving him that opportunity, but hey, what a nice takedown there.
You can see the wrestling of Hernandez pretty pronounced here. Jesus Castillo holding onto the head with that left semi-overhook type position, but I mean, it's really just nothing doing for him right now.
Doesn't have an answer. That's the thing. I mean, we talked about that level of competition, and you know, I'm not saying that anything can happen here tonight, but I think that's starting to shine here.
Once again, tonight's fight's brought to you by Burger King. Some of the best eats that you could possibly find, especially here in Colombia. Why eat with the clown when you could dine with the king, Scott?
Yeah. They have
I love that line.
A new 24-hour location as well. Drive-through 24 hours. It's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
We're gonna be there later.
Oh well, we're definitely gonna
It's
be
the
there
after
later.
party.
That's where the after party is, sponsored by Burger King.
Hernandez seems, like you said earlier, he's a tactician. I mean, he's taking his time. He's moving up.
He's not, but the thing that we've seen earlier tonight, he's not looking for that sub. He's taking his time. He wants position. He wants to be able to dominate him and not let him out. Now, Castillo has been able to get out of a couple of positions very impressively, but he hasn't been overzealous. Very patient, waiting for his opportunity.
Crucifix moments ago right there for Hernandez as he was able to get a slicing elbow, but the skin of Castillo holding up. I like that knee brace, the windshield right there from Castillo. Prevents Hernandez from passing over into full mount. But, I mean, he's got to be a little bit more urgent to get back to his feet. 2 minutes have transpired in round two, and it's been all Hernandez again.
Well, to your point earlier, Hector, when all Castillo can do is try to get out of the grappling holds of Hernandez, that's not scoring points with the judges.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think this one's easy to say that Francisco so far is winning. I mean, I still thought Danny Puente won. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the judges have their own mindset. But hey, I think he's going for submission here. I'll let it go.
Once again, Ben the Bane Davis here inside the broadcasting booth with promoter Hector Castro and my father. None of us here really have the training necessary to break down these positions, so apologies to you folks back home.
Well, we got some great comedy. You know, Scott Davis has some awesome one-liners.
Crucifix once again for Hernandez. Horrible spot for Castillo, but Jesus doing the necessary things. You're correct. Hernandez trying to isolate that arm on the far side, but the dragon rolls to the knees.
I mean, this is an interesting fight so far, but I really want to see. I really want to hear about what the Davis Christmas plans are. I mean, we're going to have to get to those.
What are our Christmas plans? I'm on the road a lot, so we haven't really got the chance to connect.
Well,
it's Christmas, man. It's Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas is happening on December 10th. I'm not sure where you're going to be. You might be.
I think I'll be home.
Okay.
Check the schedule and get back to you.
I'll have to be there. I'll have to talk to my assistant.
I know what I'm getting you. I'm getting that headpiece from Paez.
From Nick Paez, the Dagestani signature look.
From Paez's headpiece. So straight from Dagestan. That's an original piece right there.
Yeah.
So Castillo here doesn't seem to be able to do much.
Well, there's the right thing. Regains full guard. Now still isolating the posture of Francisco Hernandez. But if he's closing the guard like that, he's not going to be able to get back to the feet. He's not going to be able to threaten submission. So he's got 60 seconds. I'd like to see him open it up, try and create some space, get those feet on the hips, and just push as much as he can, Hector.
This is the first fight I've actually seen Pacho wrestle. I mean, obviously, I mean, and that's a lot of respect to Castillo's stand-up. I mean, boxers love standing up. He loves throwing punches. We saw him at Empire 3, I believe it was, in Retiro, and he just out-kicked his opponent, literally tried to kick that leg out from him. Whereas now, and then the last fight, obviously, had that highlight reel flying knee. But here, I mean, it's been mostly all wrestling, so I'm very impressed, and I'm actually happy that he's progressing with his overall MMA game.
Final 30 seconds. Castillo pops back up, has a moment of reprieve. Can he make something happen?
Castillo's trying to catch his breath as well. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to do all this stuff. He needs to stay active and needs to score some points here.
Trying to get a single leg here on Hernandez. Ill-advised that Castillo's initiating the grappling when he's largely been controlled, or throwing big spinning strikes like that just invite clinch positions. Scott, your thoughts as we get to the final moments?
Yeah, I think Castillo's, his corner's going to need to give him an adjustment and a new strategy for the third round.
Round 2 comes to a close. Hernandez still firmly in the driver's seat. We take it to the lawyer's perspective. Round 2 highlights. Scott, break it down.
Well, as you mentioned, it's really difficult to break it down when you have no training.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 13 seconds against Brad Bolton on CFFC's platform, so I also am not the guy that is the authority on the ground. Hector, you're the last man that can say something.
I'll say something. There was a whole lot of wrestling. There was a lot of wrestling, a lot of control. But like I said, at the end of the day, Francisco Hernandez so far 2 rounds to none, dominating this fight so far.
Once again, massive thank you. Huge gratitude to Luke Thomas for allowing us to stream on his platform. We truly hope you guys are all enjoying it. I wish LT was here right now, because he does have just an unbelievable library of wisdom when it comes to combat sports, and he'd certainly love digging into these positions and educating us.
Well, Luke is actually, I'm not sure if anybody may know this, but I mean, he is actually, his wife is from Colombia. So he comes here often. He has been several times. So when I originally launched Empire MMA, he was one of my first phone calls. We sat down. I explained the project to him. He's been here. He's been to training. He's been at Affinity MMA. Sorry, BJJ. Training with Carlos Quintero, black belt, and he's just one of us. He understands the struggles that we have down here. So that's why when I came to him this time and I said, hey, listen, I have an opportunity to put this on your platform. Are you interested? He was very happy. I mean, right now, obviously, we don't have a content deal. We're looking for a home, but for now, we're trying to find, think outside the box. We're not looking to do the same thing. We have our platform. Our fights will be on YouTube after this, but we want to use other people's platforms and see what we can do.
Meanwhile, Francisco Hernandez just resumes what was going on in round number 2. Excellent half guard here. And I want to see urgency from Castillo to get back to the feet. He was able to pop back up in the final minute of round 2, but 4 minutes to go. You're likely down 2 rounds. Floor's lava, Scott. You got to get back up.
Yeah, well, whatever his corner told him, it doesn't seem to be working, because we're doing more of the same. I'm surprised with Castillo having 10 subs that he's not able to do more, but I guess, Hector, to what you said earlier, it's the difference in competition.
Well, it just speaks to how good Francisco Hernandez is. I mean, truly.
That's really what it is, honestly, 100%. I don't think it's that Castillo's bad. I just think that he's a little overmatched here, and it just shows how dominant Francisco. He's one of the top prospects in Colombia for a reason.
Yeah. And if you ask him, he'd say the world.
True story.
3.
I would like to see Hernandez be a little bit more active with all of these positions. He's had great position through almost this entire fight, but needs to be a little bit more active. Not to win, but I think just to put on a show.
Well, you think, especially coming off of that spectacular flying knee knockout in his last fight, fans would maybe tune in assuming, hey, we're going to see more spectacle. But I do love a measured approach. I do love a get him down, don't give him an opportunity. Again, Jesus Castillo has a lifetime of striking experience. You just don't want to give that guy any chances. But Castillo doing the right things here, opening up the guard, trying to get the feet on the hips, but he's just pushed up against the cage here, Hector. It's an uncomfortable place to be.
Definitely uncomfortable, especially with a guy as big and as good as Francisco, because you're going to have to make a great move to get out of this position. It's not going to be easy for him to reverse it, especially when your head's like that against that cage.
So there must be some obvious gas tank issues going on with Castillo now. I mean, he's been fighting this off.
I'm not sure if we can tell, really, because he's on the ground here. And I assume, based on historical knowledge, that, yes, being ground out does wear the cardio. But, he's throwing spinning kicks when he gets back up. He's lunging in with that wide karate stance. So it seems like he does have an okay engine in there.
You know what? I was expecting this fight to be a striking battle. To be honest with you, I think everybody was. So, on one side, I'm a little disappointed. Oh, we almost had him there. I was a little disappointed in that sense that we're not seeing the spectacle that we were hoping to see. But at the same time, this just shows that we have smart fighters. I mean, they're obviously with the game plan and they're working it.
Castillo momentarily dipping down with that left arm, looping around the right leg of Francisco Hernandez. Bad idea, just got clinched and then ate a couple ground and pound strikes. So it seems like he's trying to figure it out, but he doesn't have enough weapons and tools to build a base or get the feet to the hips. And especially, again, uncomfortable position, the deep waters of being pushed up against the cage here.
It seems that if he's able to get out of this, which I doubt he will be, he's going to need probably a knockout to turn this around.
A minute and a half left, not much going on. He needs a miracle at this point. He definitely has to get a finish.
Yeah, and again, on that note of Francisco Hernandez, you have just been punishing this kid for full 3 rounds. Why not posture up, throw some elbows, take a little bit more risk?
And the funny part is that he's been very controlled. Hasn't been overly aggressive on the ground and pound. He's been taking his time. And, so he's still fresh. I mean, he's still relatively fresh.
Yes.
Probably throw him in a fight later tonight if you want to, Hector.
Yeah, I mean, if we need to step in last minute, why not?
Final 50 seconds. Hernandez, Castillo in a true chess match of a grappling affair. Castillo, 10 submissions to the name. All 4 of his pro victories come by way of sub, but he has just been out-grappled here tonight by the veteran Francisco Hernandez.
Is there any way for Castillo to get out of this?
I mean, the referee standing it up would be the only way, and I just don't think that he'll get that assistance from Valencia.
Yeah, well, Francisco's he's active. I mean, he's pushing, he's still punching. I mean, he's not obviously going for the kill, but I mean, he's still there being active, staying active, and that's all that Valencia needs to see to keep him in this position. Castillo needs to be one with the urgency to get up, and he's not, like I said, he's just trying to hold him from getting punched at this point.
And especially a 4-0 undefeated fighter going through a domination like this, it's a massive learning lesson and opportunity. Here he is, still lunging across the cage, trying to make it work. Bell sounds, Valencia separates, and Castillo Hernandez goes the distance, Hector.
Yeah, it was very impressive. A wonderful match. Francisco Hernandez is very, like I said, shows his dominance, shows why he's a top fighter in Colombia. It was not obviously the knockout fest we wanted to see, but still showed his dominant wrestling skills.
And here's those highlights from round number 3. Laurie's perspective. Scott Davis, your thoughts?
Yeah, very, very tactical, very strategic on Hernandez's part. Maybe not, as you said, Hector, maybe the most exciting fight, but certainly impressive with what Hernandez did.
Well, Castillo is going to use this as a learning lesson. I mean, we spoke to him before the fight. I mean, he was like, oh, I got great jiu-jitsu, I can counter. And obviously he knows that he needs to work on his wrestling to get off his back. I mean, that's a big aspect of wrestling that it's really hard to learn, and it takes a lot of time.
We set it inside to Denier to make that decision official.
De nuestra velada, por decisión unánime, y suma su 4ª victoria, Francisco Hernandez!
No question there as Francisco Hernandez bounces El Dragon Jesus Castillo from the ranks of the unbeaten. What a clinical domination. Just wrestled his way. Just wrestled his way to a unbelievably dominant victory.
Well, and I certainly would give Hernandez a vote for...
Desde la ciudad de Medellín y nos preparamos para nuestra 5ª pelea profesional de la noche.
What more can you say? It was a domination. We take it to the next fight of the evening between the 2nd Brazilian on the card, Romero Reis, as he takes on Sebastian Cardona. A lot of experience. The 20 pro fights underneath the belt of Reis, and the 5 pro fights of Cardona. But Reis says that it's his toughest opponent yet. I'm very curious to see how this one plays out, Hector.
This is a great opportunity for Sebastian Cardona to show what he has, as well as Romero Reis. Sebastian is probably one of the best up-and-coming prospects we have in Colombia right now at 135. We talked to him about it, and we basically convinced him to drop to bantamweight.
Olha, foi massa, foi tranquilo, cara. Eu estou sempre preparado. Eu sou um atleta que vivo para isso. Então, eu estou listo a qualquer momento e eu estou bem para dar um show. Foi maravilhosa e vamos lá. E vamos travar uma guerra sangrenta porque vim cá para isto. E, além de pelear, sou uma pessoa que gosta de dar show para público. Então, se não queres dar show para público, serás nocauteado fácil ou finalizado.
Bueno, esa preparación para esa pelea fue muy dura. Básicamente fueron 2 meses de campamento, subiendo al Nevado del Ruiz, entrenando 5 o 6 horas diarias, entonces me siento súper fuerte. Que lo de todo porque vengo fuerte y voy a ganar.
First, Figueiredo was successful, then Willington da Silva was successful. We'll see if Ramiro Reis can continue the success of the Brazilians. 27 years young, over the last 10 years, he has trained in every single discipline possible, loves being a showman, says that aggression is my focus. I want to be fan-friendly. I want to deliver for the people watching around the world. And he noted that Sebastian Cardona is the toughest opponent he's ever faced. He's prepared for a bloodbath. He's studied Sebastian's strengths and says this is going to be a big challenge, but I'm meant for the big show. He wants Bellator. He wants Contender Series, PFL after this. Hector, first he's got to get through Cardona.
That's a big challenge as well, but Romero is being very humble, obviously. He's a champion here in Colombia for CS MMA out of Yopal, and I think he's an exciting fighter, has some holes, obviously, but he's very unpredictable, which makes him very dangerous. He's going to be, it's a big challenge for him because he's fighting a guy who is bigger. I mean, he's moving up from flyweight to take this fight. Sebastian is moving down from featherweight, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. Sebastian's fought, he fought for a title fight in Titan FC against La Salsa, and he went to a decision, and a lot of people who saw that fight said that actually, if it wasn't in the Dominican Republic, it would have been the other way.
Here he is, the final Brazilian of the night, Ramiro Reis, ahead of his toughest challenge yet.
Well, you look at his record.
"28 years young, born in Colombia, fighting out of Manizales, riding a 2-fight win streak, 4-1 overall as a professional." And Hector, like you mentioned, that unanimous decision set back to Tommy Garcia at Titan FC in April of this year. Many would dispute that result. As an amateur, he went 7-2. Highly ranked, highly regarded. Sebastian Cardona is back, Hector.
Well, yeah, I mean, that Tommy fight was a barn burner as well. I mean, and he only had 2 professional fights at that point as well. So that's one of the things we were talking about, giving these kids an opportunity to develop their skills before they get into big fights like that. This kid's been growing. We've been feeding him tough challenges. He's been doing well. This is definitely the hardest opponent that he's had. Well, with the exception of Tommy, this is going to be the hardest fight he's ever had. So I'm looking forward to how he's progressed, as well as how they match up, because I want to see. You saw Willie when he fought; he had a good defense for wrestling. I want to see if if Sebastian tries to wrestle him or if he wants to stand with him.
Scott Davis, big finisher on one side and a durable Cardona. Your thoughts on this bantamweight clash?
Yeah, very much so. Cardona is he's a guy that likes going the distance. He's won 6 of his last 7, and all of them went the distance. So he's certainly going to be in the cage for quite a while tonight. We know that much.
And, you know, like we've mentioned several times, the ink on all these competitors is quite amazing. The second appearance in Empire, it's Sebastian El Aguila Cardona. we take it to the tail of the tape between these two 135ers, Sebastian Cardona and Ramiro Reis. Reis. Or we won't.
No, this opportunity is this fight's gonna be a great fight. Looking forward to it.
There it is, Ramiro Reis representing Brazil. Sebastian Cardona. Let's send it inside to the near.
Entre dos países, Colombia versus Brasil. Escuche esto. En la esquina azul, desde Brasil, país del yoga bonito, con un peso de 61.2 kilogramos, 27 años de edad, 1 metro 68 de estatura, un récord de 13 peleas ganadas, 7 perdidas, 0 empates, representando a CSM MMA, él es Ramiro Reis. Y representando a Colombia desde Manizales, con un peso de 61 kilogramos, 28 años de edad, 1 metro 65 de estatura, 4 victorias ganadas, 1 derrota, 0 empates, representando a Pereira Tautini, él es nada más y nada menos que Sebastián el Águila Cardona. Indicaciones técnicas.
Chicos, quiero una pelea limpia, ya saben las reglas, choquen guantes si van a chocar y a sus esquinas.
Valencia third.
Para nuestra quinta pelea profesional.
Valencia third man inside the octagon here. Cardona and Reis.
Inicia el primer round.
Incredible experience on Ramiro Reis, but he says Cardona is his toughest task. We will see. Reis in the multicolored blue trunks with the blue gloves. Cardona in the black with the red gloves, Hector.
His stance is interesting. He's kind of like flat-footed a little bit, leaning back. They're just kind of reading each other out right now, exchanging.
A lot of leg kicks early.
Well, it's a chess match right now. They both respect each other.
Oh, big stick right there with the right hand from Reis. Flying knee from Ramiro. He said he's a showman, and he is proving it, but Cardona catches it, brings it to the cage, Scott.
Yeah, I was just looking at Reis. He's a fighter that can get it done a lot of different ways. 4 TKOs, 8 submissions. So he's got a lot of weapons.
Big shots on the inside, momentary elbow from Reis, but Cardona's the one that won that exchange. 1 minute in, and it is really exciting so far, Hector.
Sebastian needs to take advantage of his reach. He's got a reach advantage here. Can't let Romero get into his zone so easily. Needs to keep him away.
This is Sebastian's first bantamweight fight since he fought for that 135-pound title in Titan FC in April. His last 2 bouts have been at featherweight, so his frame has kind of filled out a little bit. Feels like he's had some more added athleticism and physique in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a body difference, a size difference here, but you can see right there, he's very quick, and that's going to be Sebastian's problem.
Reis momentarily buckling the legs of Cardona. Sebastian Cardona not liking those low kicks.
Very uncomfortable. I know when Welly fought, he did the same thing.
I think Cardona's dealing with a lot of different issues right now with Reis in terms of all the different weapons he has.
Excellent right hand over the top. Cardona wears it well, but Reis is just all over him. Big shots. Sebastian Cardona connects.
Yeah, Romero connected with a big haymaker, but then Sebastian countered. They both got a little buzz there, so far so good. It's a good matchup right here.
Love the feinting from Reis. I mean, showing so many different looks. Sebastian eating all those leg kicks. Maybe a level change could be helpful for him, Scott.
Yeah, he might need to do something different soon.
You can already see the bruising and discoloration, the destabilized nature of that left leg.
Yeah, and Hayes is working on that leg, obviously. You can see it from here.
I think we're in the same position where we're trying to focus on the speed of Romero. I think he's focusing on. I think Sebastian's giving him too much credit, and he's basically not worried. I mean, he doesn't know what he's going to do. He's throwing some big punches. He's coming with flying knees. So I mean, I think he's just a little hesitant right now, and it's costing him.
Cardona trying to maybe bounce some life back into that leg. Ramiro Hayes goes high with a side kick. 2 minutes to go in round number 1. And again, a crushing leg kick downstairs and a right hand. Sebastian Cardona eats it, but man, I mean, he's got a chin on him. Brief collision there. Romero met the canvas, but popped right back up. Final minute 40, Scott.
Yeah, I think Cardona, as you mentioned, Hector, while he tries to figure out Hayes, he's taken a lot of shots to that left calf.
You know, Romero said he wants the big show, and he is looking like he deserves it. This is a true, near solid as can be performance, not taking too much damage and just executing the game plan. Brief stumble there from Romero.
I'm surprised that Hayes hasn't done a level change and a takedown with all the submissions he has.
Well, Sebastian's a wrestler, so I think he's waiting for him to take him down. But like I said, he's definitely giving him the space. I think he's definitely giving him the credit. So he's see, Romero's waiting for him to go down on the ground.
Cartwheel kick, doesn't land, eats a shot. Now leg kick from Cardona, gets one back. Stumble again from Hayes. Crowd comes alive. You can tell that they're pretty pro Cardona.
He's a local boy, man. I mean, everybody's cheering for Colombia here at the ranch, but you'd be surprised. Romero's fought here several times. He's got a big following as well, so Valencia is looking for some action here. He's asking the boys to stay active.
You know, it's been an active round, Valencia. Yeah, unsure if we need some beckoning. Final 30 seconds here in round number 1. The Burger King Arena looking excellent tonight, Hector.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great venue. Despite, like I said, it's a great venue, and it makes a lot of noise, man. There's some good. Like I said, it gives you that home feel, like a close proximity to the cage the whole night from wherever you sit.
Another excellent leg kick that forces Sebastian to momentarily change stances, and again Hayes punishes him. Round 1 comes to a close, and the left leg of Cardona is in the parking lot. Lawyer's perspective. First round highlights. Scott Davis, what do you see?
Well, I think Cardona needs to call a lawyer for that left calf. Hopefully he'll be able to figure some things out here with his corner. I think he's trying to figure out a lot of different ways that Hayes can beat him, and hopefully he'll be a little more offensive.
Well, I think Sebastian's just been reading him. I mean, he had some good. He caught his those couple of shots that he tried to do with the flying knee. He caught him a couple times, so he's definitely waiting for that. But in the meantime, while he's waiting for that, he's getting picked apart a little bit. But I mean, towards the end of that round, he did get a couple shots in. So, like I said, I want to see how it goes. Romero's been very active. So, like I said, I mean, it's definitely going to be. This is going to be a full fight. This is going. I think it's going to all 3 rounds if it plays out this way. And but they're both strong enough to finish it.
Yes.
You think Romero Hayes coming up a weight class, Cardona coming down a weight class again to 135. He's got the power. If he does connect, could spell defeat for one Romero Hayes. Round 2. Valencia gets us going.
When Sebastian has connected, Romero has moved back a little bit. So if he's able to get in close and throw a couple combinations in there.
Hayes goes back to the playbook with the leg kick.
We're wasting no time. I mean, why would you? There's a connection from Cardona.
Yeah, Sebastian needs to be like what he's doing right now. He needs to be very aggressive and push him back. He needs to be very aggressive and push him back. You know what I mean? He's trying to control the cage and force Romero to move backwards.
Got to make it a dogfight. You got to make it dirty, and going first is the most advised strategy from my standpoint. I mean, when you're taking pictures, like you said, when you're reading, it's just you're always going to come out second or a step behind. Another leg kick on Cardona.
You have to wonder how many more of those leg kicks Cardona has in him before it starts to really affect his movement. He just kind of moved his leg after that kick.
You know, if I'm Romero Hayes, I'd go high with a head kick. You know, seems like Cardona is almost accustomed to leaving that left hand downstairs.
Every time Sebastian's trying to be in his face and press the action on him, cause him, not giving him the time to dance. And what's happening right now is Romero is catching him on the inside. But here, Sebastian's been able to get him against the cage, and now he's going to try to dirty box here. And this is actually where he probably needs to control. So I think this is where he has the advantage. Romero can't, he let him go. But this is where Sebastian had the advantage there, because Romero needs distance to do what he needs to do.
Purple and red is the lead leg of Sebastian Cardona. Now he adopts that southpaw stance once again. He's moving gingerly. There's a head kick from Hayes. It is that just hard to keep up pressure fighting of Cardona that he sorely needs right now. Going first is something that you can do.
You can tell Cardona is really favoring that left leg. He's anticipating the kick. He's moving it out of the way.
He's getting sloppy when he's coming in right now. He's trying to get so aggressive coming in to close the distance. And again, he's the one with the longer reach, but because of those kicks, he's staying away.
Another leg kick lands. 3 minutes to go in round number 2. Cardona just not doing enough. Real ginger on that left leg. Pushes Hayes up against the cage.
Well, he needs to control him here. He's got
basically half of round 2 left.
He's got about half of round 2 left. I mean, if he keeps him here and he keeps him pressed against the fence, but he's not. He's letting it go and he's giving him space. He's got a dirty box. He's got to keep him against that fence. Romero's thriving on the distance. That because Sebastian's struggling here.
Every time Sebastian goes southpaw, Hayes unloads on that head kick.
Yeah, Hayes is well prepared for this fight. He's got a great strategy.
Big front kick. Cardona stumbled. Romero Hayes. Maybe lock it up a submission. Pull and guillotine. Can Cardona fight him off? Slams to the canvas. That's it. 2 minutes left, not needed. Romero Hayes makes it another submission finish. Wow. Unreal. All 8 of his subs coming into this are guillotines. Make it 9.
Well, we talked at the outset. He's got a lot of ways to beat you. And he just showed that.
And you can see, I mean, the expression afterwards, just cold-blooded from the Brazilian. Figgy got it done. Winston Da Silva got it done. Now, Romero Hayes gets it done and extends the win streak to 5. All of those finishes, I mean, this guy, he's unlocked something new in his career.
Yeah. I don't know how many more leg kicks Cardona had in him. And it obviously was compromising his movement. Change into southpaw. And we can see it from here, the damage to his calf. So
it's certainly swollen, and he is not putting a lot of weight on it. That is tough for Sebastian Cardona, who, came into this back-to-back wins. This was his 3rd appearance in Empire, and a learning lesson. First time that he's been stopped. And at just 28 years young, I think he'll grow from this performance. And I mean, look at that squeeze. Nobody was getting out of that one.
You go back to just the strategy of Hayes. This is sort of the old chop and chop and chop game plan, right? You don't think that maybe the leg kicks can do all that much damage, but it opens up every part of the game.
Got to call him the Brazilian Paul Bunyan after that performance. Excellent.
Was there one?
Probably not, maybe. I mean, sure. I think Brazil's got a lot of trees that have been deforested over the years. I mean, isn't the Amazon rainforest in Brazil?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Paul Bunyan, that's Big Pharma is what it is in Brazil. Yeah. We send it inside to our ring announcer, Denier, to make that submission official.
Quinta pelea profesional de la noche por la vía de sumisión guillotina y sumando una 14ª victoria, Romero Hayes.
All submissions, guillotines. I mean, this kid is, when you look at him at 27 years young, 14-7 overall, the record is not indicative of the true talent and skill. Riding a 5-fight win streak, all stoppages, all pretty darn good opponents. Quick turnaround. I mean, he fought literally a month ago, and he puts on a performance like that. Listen, I don't know if the Bellator PFL Contender Series crew are listening or tuning in, the Luke Thomas audience back home, but Romero Hayes, I'm a fan.
Well, I am too, after what we just saw. He really didn't take him to the ground at all. and then gets him into a guillotine at the end and wins.
Cardona, Hayes, and Freddy Serrano taking a quick pick now. He's getting one with the corner, and after that, he'll get the chance to speak with Bellator, Alejandra Laura.
Dijiste que esta iba a ser una pelea difícil para ti, habías estudiado a tu oponente. ¿Qué piensas de qué fue lo más difícil de esta pelea?
O mais difícil foi a chegada até cá, Colômbia. É trajeto muito grande de Brasília para cá. Temos que nos adaptar com o clima. E minha cidade está muito caliente. Aqui está frio, sim. Porém, acho que precisaria vencer minha cabeça. Esta peleia vai me levar para o mundo. Alô, Dano! Alô, PFL, Bellator! Estou aqui, Dana! Ei, Dana! Quando eu saí de Brasília, me disseram, me hablaram para mim, Romero, necessita dessa peleia. Essa peleia mais importante de tua vida, para que o mundo te conheça. Ei, em meu país, agora estou na 5ª posição, na 7ª posição. Não preciso mais de nada, não preciso mostrar nada para os Dano. Bellator, PFL, Romero Reis!
¿Cuál fue tu apoyo más grande para llegar hasta aquí? ¿A quién le agradeces estar aquí hoy?
Claro, Dona Beth Bessa, minha patrocinadora de Cachoeira do Piriá. Cachoeira do Piriá, abraço, muitas graças, Cachoeira, obrigado, amo vocês. Santa Luzia do Pará, obrigado. Ricardo é meu empresário que está comigo. É uma pessoa que acreditou em meu trabalho desde o começo, desde quando não era absolutamente ninguém. Muitas graças, Ricardo. Muitas graças, Grupo Intercom. Muitas graças, W Estética, Gavião Motos. Graças a todos. Muitas graças. Esta é minha família. Essa pessoa que me levou para o mundo. Prof. Juan Cuevas, Bibiana, CSMMA. Represento você. E o Pau Casanare!
Por último, ¿qué le quieres decir a esta gente de Colombia que te adoptó? ¿Qué sientes de estar aquí hoy en Bogotá?
Sempre digo que Colômbia é minha segunda casa. É onde peleei em Inglaterra, entrei com bandeira de Colômbia e de Brasília. Então, Colômbia, representarei vocês também. Hoje tive que pelear com o colombiano, infelizmente. Mas Colômbia e Opá, Casanare, represento os 10. Colômbia, I love you!
Excellent work by Romero Hayes. 14-7, 5 wins in a row, all finishes. Amazing. Can't wait to see what's next. But talking about what's next, Scott Davis, we take it to Dulce Encarnacion as she takes on the undefeated sensation, Laura Canyon. I mean, brief thoughts on this one before we dig into the meat of it.
Yeah, the Bogota girl, Canyon, coming into the cage again, 7-0 as an amateur and a pro, putting that all on the line tonight. And she's been active this year, already won several times in 2023. Has 4 first-round finishes, so we should look for this one to be active. And my guess is she'll probably want to put Encarnacion away as soon as she can.
Hay una pelea que hemos estado esperando esta noche.
Brazilian fans are celebrating cage side.
Se nos viene pelea internacional y obviamente esta pelea es una de las más esperadas y desestimadas de las anteriores. Se nos viene nuestra primera pelea femenina profesional. Eso sí le digo, hasta yo la estoy esperando.
exciting night of fights once again. This is our third to last one. Featured fight before the co-main and main. Dulce Encarnacion and Laura Canyon do battle here in Bogota. Love this, I mean, skyscape that we've seen. Bogota is such a beautiful city. Scott, I know you're a big fan of Colombia. Thoughts on the, I think Bogota's the capital, right?
Yeah, it is. Last time I saw it was. How many times have you been here?
A couple. I mean, enough to know. Enough to know.
Well, you're busy studying fighters when you're here.
Yeah, I'm locked in the hotel room.
Yeah, exactly. It's...
Mi preparación para esta pelea fue físicamente, mentalmente, durante un año completo, trabajando duro. Mientras se me caía en pelea, el campamento seguía hasta que por fin ya apareció. Esta pelea yo se la debo a mi equipo y a mi madre que falleció hace muy poco y tengo que hacerla sentir súper orgullosa y sé que desde allá arriba ella me estará mirando. Que se prepare.
Mi preparación para esta pelea realmente no hay un juego en específico, no hay un plan de juego que queramos llevar a cabo. Me siento confiada, digamos, con varias herramientas en todo el juego completo, tanto del grappling, tanto del striking. Estuve muy activa competitivamente tanto en boxeo como en lucha. El mensaje para mi oponente es que espero que se haya preparado fuertemente porque yo voy a ir a entrar a la jaula muy segura de mi trabajo, a mostrar esa agresividad y esa técnica y a mostrar ese coraje que siempre me ha identificado. Entonces espero que se haya preparado y me haya tomado en serio porque vamos a hacer arder esa jaula.
At 24 years young, from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, sits Dulce Encarnacion. She has been training since she was a little girl. She did karate and sanda, but crossed over to mixed martial arts in 2017. This fight camp was almost a year long because all of her opponents kept either pulling out or getting injured. Her team is well known in the DR, and again, not many people have been signing the dotted line to take on Dulce. Ahead of Laura Canyon, we asked her about the opponent, and she says, listen, I know I can beat her and I can finish her, but my prediction here is a unanimous decision victory. Wants to take it to the scorecards and leave no doubt over the sensation Canyon. Outside of the cage, big physical fitness enthusiast, coaching classes, loves pasta and Italian food, and wants the people back home to know that she likes riding horses, Scott.
Yeah, Encarnacion, again, the fourth country of our Latin America affair tonight. But the good news is she's on a one-fight win streak, but it doesn't look like she's fought in 3 years. And maybe some of that was due to some canceled fights, but you wonder, as active as Canyon has been, she's already fought 3 times this year, whether Encarnacion will have the game plan.
I'll say this, as someone that has worked in Latin America several times before, a lot of these matchups maybe don't make their way to Sure Dog or Tapology. They just aren't recorded or documented. So maybe Dulce Encarnacion is a lot more active than the Tapology and record would suggest. But either way, here she is in the Burger King Arena.
She is, she's in great shape. I mean, really, really well-toned, and obviously she's been spending the time working on her fitness level.
Stars burn bright, but this female is a supernova. Laura Canyon, 7-fight win streak, 2-0 as a professional, both first round stoppages. She decided that she wanted to switch up the cage and get into the squared circle in October of this year and did some pro boxing against Estefania Arbeles and took her to a split decision draw. Entertaining different disciplines, pushing herself, trying everything. That is what you would assume from one Laura Canyon as she reps an unbelievably wholesome and meaningful message. Empowerment for females is what she preaches. day in and day out. Scott Davis, thoughts on the undefeated Kenyan?
Well, as you say often, she doesn't get paid by the hour, and she doesn't waste a lot of time. 4 first-round finishes. I think that's what we should look for here. She may think that Encarnacion is maybe rusty, and I'll be curious to see if Canyon takes it to her very quickly. She usually gets out of the gate very fast. She's a great striker, and she has a bright future ahead. This may be a risky fight for her.
I think so. I mean, Dulce Encarnacion accepting this fight tells you that she thinks that there is something in Laura Kenyon that she can best, but, you know, nobody's been able to do it since. In 5 amateur appearances, 2 as a pro. They just can't beat Laura Kenyon. And you think about the strikes, she's also got 2 submissions in her amateur career, so well-rounded is Kenyon.
Yeah. Well, and Encarnacion must see something to get on a plane to come to Bogota to fight Canyon. So it's going to be a good one.
Once again, John Tacha Rodriguez in the corner of Laura Kenyon. He has just scaled the cage. You know, they told me that John Tacha, our bantamweight champion, has a broken hand, but he's doing like levitated push-ups up there on the cage. I'd say he's fully recovered and ready for a big 2024.
Yeah, so what we have is potentially a pressure fight for Canyon. She has a lot to gain, but she also has a lot to lose. And for Encarnacion, I think it's a great opportunity for her.
Laura Kenyon, one of the true staples of Empire Mixed Martial Arts, as she enters the Burger King Arena for the 3rd time. 100% finishing rate as a pro. We'll see if that success in mixed martial arts continue. Here's the tail of the tape from the Dominican Republic. It's Dulce Encarnacion representing Colombia. It is Laura Kenyon. 1-1 for Dulce, 2-0 for Kenyon. 1 year separates them, and Kenyon will have a slight height advantage. From Club Equipe Serrano, it's the undefeated Kenyon, and from Team Morden, it's Encarnacion.
Femenino profesional. Permita decirlo, desde el país del dembow, República Dominicana, con 61.12 kilogramos, 24 años de edad, 1,64 m de estatura, récord, 1 victoria, 1 derrota, 0 empates. Representando al Team Morden, ella es Dulce La Potra Encarnacion. Y nuestra anfitriona de la casa, Bogotá, con un peso de 61.2 kilogramos. 25 años de edad, 1,71 m de estatura, 2 victorias, 0 derrotas y 0 empates, representando al Club Equipo Serrano. Ella es Laura Nikita Cañón.
This place gets loud for Kenyon.
Pelea especial, porque ustedes se lo merecen. Indicaciones técnicas.
Chicas, ya conocen las reglas, quieren una pelea limpia. Si les pido que trabajen, deben trabajar. Si les pido que paren, deben de parar. Choquen guantes y lo van a chocar y a sus esquinas.
Señores, prepárense.
Valencia, 3rd man inside the octagon for this highly touted affair. Laura Kenyon undefeated. Dulce Encarnacion on paper, huge underdog, but this entire fight week she has been nothing but the picture of composure. She takes the center, big leg kick on Kenyon.
This arena is going to go move.
Oh! Dulce catches
shot.
Laura with a beautiful combination.
Dulce is noticeably larger than Kenyon.
A lot of strength and conditioning from Team Mardon.
Yeah,
Laura Kenyon meets the canvas, pops back up. Dulce Encarnacion having a great first minute here, but you know, again, Laura's a girl who knows how to get it done. But we talked about strength of schedule on several fighters earlier tonight. A lot of people would maybe say Laura Cagnon hasn't had a test like Dolce Encarnacion up until this point.
Well, Encarnacion is doing to Cagnon what she normally does to her opponents, taking it to them right away. Some nice striking.
Beautiful leg kick from Dolce. Laura just a little bit of a step behind. Would like to see her be the one going and starting these combinations. Being first is so underrated here tonight.
Looks like they're both trying to figure each other out, particularly Cagnon.
She is rarely the nail, more oftentimes the hammer. Dolce Encarnacion blocks most of those strikes, but Cagnon does partially get that body kick. Beautiful inside leg kick from Dolce. 3:15 left in round number 1. And I mean, so defensively responsible too. Dolce Encarnacion's hands are just right near the chin.
Yeah.
And a beautiful check on that attempt from Laura.
She is, Dolce is very well trained, very tactical.
This is where Laura Cagnon comes alive, cuts off the cage, makes that Burger King arena feel like a phone booth.
Well, speaking of Burger King, you were recently in the Dominican. Do they have Burger King there?
I couldn't tell you, man. They didn't let me leave the resort. 2:35 left in round number 1. Dolce lands with a big semi-hammer fist type strike. I mean, interesting striking techniques that we're seeing here. Outside leg kick is effective.
If Cagnon gets this done tonight, this arena is going to go muy loco.
And if Dolce Encarnacion gets it done, they will be silent. Cagnon pressuring, but still eating the offense. Now an effective combo from Cagnon as she opens up.
Dolce taking a page out of Hayes' playbook with the leg kicks to Cagnon's leg.
Excellent shot by Cagnon there. Dolce, though, circling out nicely, and agree. I mean, that wide stance of Cagnon makes her pay in those situations. Dolce lands in that exchange.
Both are big strikers looking for a big strike.
Minute 40 left. Cagnon lands on the outside. I'd like to see some more feints from Laura. Maybe draw out strikes from Dolce to maybe counter.
She's not moving her head all that much, I guess, to your point, Cagnon.
Big body kick. There's a collision. Laura Cagnon forcing Dolce back once more. I mean, this is just a lot of pressure that Dolce's having to deal with. Being on the back foot like this is going to wear on the cardio, going to wear on the confidence. Laura Cagnon opens up. Dolce tries to respond.
Nice combo by Cagnon.
You know, every time Cagnon tries with those teeps to the body, Dolce catches it and just comes right over the top with a big, heavy punch.
Both of them have eaten some good strikes already in this round.
Dolce with a strong start. Laura seemingly with a strong finish. There's a big combo. But again, kick gets caught, and then Dolce just crushes with the right hand. 30 seconds to go. Laura Cagnon looks like she might be entering the second round of a professional mixed martial arts bout for the first time.
And she's got a game opponent tonight, that's for sure. Dolce has come to fight.
But the confidence does seem to be wearing. Dolce blocking and moving pretty effectively, but not as imposing as she was in the earlier frames of round 1.
No, and Cagnon seems to be stalking her now. And Dolce spent a lot of time on her back feet.
There's a big combo that sneaks through. Round 1 in the can. Laura Cagnon with a tough puzzle, but finds her way through it. Lawyer's perspective. First round highlights. What'd you see, Scott?
Well, both of them showed a lot of ability with their striking. I probably would give the edge to Cagnon. I think she was probably more accurate with her striking. There was a nice right hand by Dolce.
I love Dolce's responses. Every time that Laura Cagnon tried to throw a kick, she would catch it and just come over the top. If I'm Cagnon, I'm feinting the kick with the hips and then unloading with it.
Dolce, look at both of them now. Dolce looks pretty relaxed in between rounds. Cagnon seems a little bit heavier breathing. This will be a puzzle for both of them to solve in round 2, and particularly Cunyon, who's heading into territory she's never been.
Laura Cunyon getting some excellent cornering advice from our bantamweight champion, John Tacha Rodriguez there. Dominican Republic, long way from home. Dolce Encarnacion certainly did not come to lose. Once again, tonight's fight's brought to you by Burger King. If you think about eating anything else, I'm going to have to come hunt you down. Make sure you get a Whopper or chicken fries. I think they also have that. I'm not sure if that's a specialty item or a staple of the menu, but either way, the BK is where it's at.
Do they sell empanadas?
I mean, probably. I mean, here, I would. I don't want to.
You mentioned Colombia. It's a wonderful country, wonderful people. Highly encourage anybody to come visit here.
And once again, big thank you to Luke Thomas for allowing us to stream and platform tonight's fights on his YouTube channel. Valencia gets us set for round 2. Laura Cunyon and Dolce Encarnacion. If I'm Dolce, I take the center and I keep it. I do not let Laura cut off the cage and put the pressure on like she's doing right now.
Yep. She let Cunyon dictate the pace in the last half of that first round. And Cunyon trying to assert her will again.
Beautiful head kick into a right to start things off. Dolce goes southpaw for a combo. Excellent outside leg kick. Dolce just doesn't seem to be finding the answers as quickly as Laura Cunyon is.
Yeah. Well, and I think as this fight goes on, Cunyon seems to be more accurate where they're striking.
Beautiful shot from Cunyon. That one was powerful, Scott.
Yeah, she's doing a nice job with these combos that she's loading up. And Dolce really seems, again, to be kind of on her back feet.
You know, we talked about the kick, the karate and sand the background from Dolce. Maybe a level change could help her here greatly.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she hasn't done that. I think she's going to need to do something different strategy. She can't do this all fight and win, or all of the fight and win.
Bit of a side kick to the stomach there from Cunyon. Dolce trying to push forward, but can't seem to find the weakness in the wall of Laura Cunyon.
Again, more combos from Cunyon. Dolce doesn't have many answers for them, and she seems to be biting on a lot of the feints that Cunyon is throwing at her. Again, back against the cage.
Hands are dropping a little bit as well from Dolce Encarnacion. But she's still throwing heat back. I mean, she is trying.
Absolutely.
But the distance and the range is slowly slipping away from her.
Well, Cunyon is just asserting her will and cutting off the cage, and she's dictating where they go and how they do it. Great combos from Cunyon.
Big spinning attempt. Dolce capitalizes on it, but oh, there's a right hand over the top. In moments where you could circle out and take the center, Dolce just retreats back to the cage, though.
I'm surprised she hasn't done a level change and tried to take her down and see what Cunyon can do on the ground.
Not a massive fan of these hammer fisty type strikes from Dolce Encarnacion. And she is certainly fading a little bit. I mean, the gas tank is really eating some damage.
Yeah. She's not on offense at all anymore. She's just responding.
It's the reactive versus the proactive, and Laura Cunyon is taking her to school right now.
And you can see that Cunyon's getting more and more confident as the minutes go by. Trying different kicks, multiple combos at a time.
Good stick by Dolce, but again, needs a lot more than just that. 2 minutes to go in round number 2.
Well, Laura Cunyon showing why she's undefeated.
Undefeated, and again, I mean, extending herself outside of the first round in mixed martial arts since February of 2022. More cage time isn't a bad idea. And there's a big combo.
Dolce's got a lot of gas that just left her tank right there. She did not like that last strike.
The body language of Dolce is fading. The question's going to become, will Dolce even have the power to shut the lights off on Cunyon if she gets the opportunity?
Unless she just is really afraid of Cunyon on the ground, she really needs to try something different.
Cunyon's turning Dolce Encarnacion into a punching bag. 75 seconds to go in round number 2. Beautiful, just shovel uppercut. And again, now some dirty boxing from Laura Quignon.
Yeah, Quignon just loading up now and throwing everything with confidence.
Another unorthodox strike from Dolce.
Well, I think it's where the fight's going for her. She doesn't have any answers, unfortunately.
Dolce Encarnacion wilting here in the final minute of round number 2. Big stick, though, from her. Quignon just shakes it off. These single strikes from Dolce aren't going to do anything to Laura.
With all of that said, though, Dolce has shown a lot of heart and a lot of game. She's still here, likely going to get through the second round, hopefully. Oh, but she's gassed and hurt.
30 seconds. Can she make it? Quignon ties her up. There's a knee. Now unloading. Dolce Encarnacion gets the 50-50 spot. Little elbow on the inside. Quignon responds. Yeah, she is just on fumes right here in the final 10 seconds.
Quignon unloading the kitchen sink in this round.
Beautiful work from Laura. There's a right that slips past the guard. Dolce tosses a knee, but man, what a devastating second round from Laura Quignon. Dolce Encarnacion is just on her hands and knees in the corner, looking beyond defeated. Round 2 highlights. Scott, what do you see?
Well, as we talked about, Quignon, as the round went on, again, multiple combos, throwing literally everything she can. Kicks, combos, elbows. Not a lot of fear from her in the second round.
I gotta make
Dolce.
Horrible body language. I mean, her coaches had to pick her up and place her on the stool. She's
done.
Protesting.
I think,
yeah, if I'm the corner, I might consider potentially tossing in the towel. There's no point for sending your fighter out there. They've been beaten strategically. It doesn't seem like a comeback is in the cards. And Dolce, I mean, look at Dolce Encarnacion, absolutely dejected in the corner ahead of round 3.
It may be probably more mental and psychological than physical. That she's not happy with her performance and maybe she wasn't expecting this. I go back to, though, I don't know when the last time was she fought, but some of the
That's it. Dolce Encarnacion cannot answer the call. Laura Quignon remains undefeated and still 100% finishing rate as a professional mixed martial artist. Round 1, she tasted some adversity, but round 2, I mean, she really just closed the show, Scott.
Well, remember, we saw that shot that she took in the middle of the round where Dolce's body language, she just sort of turned away from Quignon, and it was clear that at that moment the fight changed.
Yeah, I mean, all credit to Dolce for making it to the end of the bell, but, you know, falling to the canvas, needing your corner and your coach to literally lift you up and place you on the stool. If that doesn't say, hey, maybe this one's done, I don't really know what will. There you can see Laura Quignon embracing Jontacha Rodriguez. And, I mean, 8-fight win streak, 3-0 as a pro. Really put it all together here tonight. What more can you say?
Well, I guess the question would be, what's next for Quignon?
In my opinion, I think a step up in competition is more than warranted. Likely here in Empire Mixed Martial Arts, maybe a title fight or maybe some sort of a #1 contender fight. Because again, you mentioned, if that tapology is true, Dolce hasn't fought in 3 years. Laura's last opponent was making her pro debut. Her opponent before that was 2-2. Great test, Emilce Charino. So I think something that's a little bit more of a stronger challenge and a mountain for Laura to climb. Maybe stylistically a grappler that's going to push the pace and not stand with her. You know, I think that could be what's next for Quignon if I was going to matchmake her.
Well, the one thing that, and I've been here in Colombia for all 3 of her fights. I enjoy watching her. I don't know that I've ever seen her go to the ground.
Exactly, so that's why, you know, you got to find those tests out early in their career. And with Freddie Serrano and Jontacha and Tachicha, that whole stable of athletes, I almost can guarantee you that she's wicked off of her back. She has insane top control in wrestling, you know, so I don't have any questions about it. I just like to see it. We sent it inside to Denier to make that second round TKO official.
Ganadora. Y suma uno más a su récord. Ella es
Excellent victory and still undefeated. She was, coming into this, the 32nd ranked pound for pound Latin American female fighter. I assume she'll get a bump after that. Hector Castro inside the octagon, talking to Dolce Encarnacion and her coach. Meanwhile, Laura Cañón gets the chance to talk to Alejandra Laura.
Muchas felicidades por tu victoria. Fue una pelea muy difícil para ambas, para nadie es fácil pelear aquí en Bogotá, ¿cierto? El aire. Pero el nivel que se demostró en esta pelea es otra historia para las MMA colombianas. Creo que estás haciendo historia como este capítulo de las MMA femeninas. ¿Y qué sientes que te deja esta pelea?
Muchas gracias a todos los que me están apoyando esta noche. Primero quiero expresarle el agradecimiento a Dulce, a mi rival. Ante todo, no cualquiera se sube a la jaula. La referenciaba como una peleadora bastante dura. Se demostró esta noche. Entonces es mucho más gratificante esta victoria. Gracias a mi equipo de boxeo, de Daniel Bernaza, a Boxing Club Colombia, a mi casa Club Equipo Serrano, que siempre me han enseñado que más allá de las herramientas técnicas que se necesitan aquí, es tener la mente y el corazón dentro de la jaula. Y por último a mi equipo de Jiu-Jitsu, Affinity, a Satori, que los amo. Gracias porque uno se sube aquí aparentemente solo, pero realmente uno está respaldado por un gran equipo. Mi mensaje para hoy es: disfruten cada día como si fuera el último, hagan lo que les apasione, hagan que cada día cuente. Ese es el mensaje con mi camiseta. Muchas personas no se despiertan, no están hoy y no estarán mañana por enfermedades. Entonces, hagan que cada día cuente, hagan el bien. Los amo, muchas gracias a todos y cerramos el año como es. Ahora sí a comer natilla y buñuelos.
Excellent victory, and still, what a performance from Laura Cañón. That takes us to the co-main event of the evening between Jason Gaviria and Juan El Patron Trujillo. This has so much bad blood. It's truly a grudge match at 135 pounds, and Jason has been, talking a lot of trash. But Juan Trujillo kind of gave no...
Bueno, la preparación fue liderada por el profesor John Zárate y detrás de él viene un equipo de profesores como es el profesor Bran, el profesor Wilder, el profesor Héctor, el profesor Eduardo, lo cual planeamos una estrategia para llegar en óptimas condiciones para pelear. Bueno, mi mayor cualidad creo que la ha dado el profesor Wilder, que es la lucha, ser agresivo, mis derribos, entonces levanto a la gente y la estampo contra el piso, entonces esa sería mi mayor cualidad como tal. Yo debería ganar esta pelea porque soy un campeón en la vida, me he esforzado desde hace muchos años en este deporte, entreno día a día, adquiero experiencia, me he enfrentado contra los mejores del país, ¿sí? Entonces esta pelea es mía. Bueno, al patrón le digo, pues él piensa que va a tener una pelea fácil, lo cual no va a ser así. Él se va a chocar contra una pared y va a caer en realidad que la diferencia entre él y yo es mucha.
La preparación para esta pelea no es que haya sido diferente a las demás, pero fue mucho más profesional. He tenido la posibilidad de entrenar con atletas de UFC que me dieron más o menos una guianza de cómo se debe hacer un campamento real. Mi mayor cualidad es lo versátil que puedo ser. Yo puedo pelear arriba en el stacking, puedo acabar la pelea arriba y puedo acabar la pelea abajo. Debido a mi striking, a mi presión, es que las personas normalmente suelen a buscarme el suelo, es cuando yo brillo más, cuando la persona quiere irme a derribar, es cuando yo los tiro al piso y los someto. Él sabe que he venido hablando mucha mierda ya durante años, siempre diciendo que me ponen oponentes fáciles, siempre queriendo comentar y siendo envidioso. Entonces lo que va a pasar esta vez es que quiero que con esa misma energía llegue al octágono, me mira a los ojos cuando ya vamos a pelear y se va a dar cuenta que hay niveles de niveles, se lo va a decir cuando le esté pegando en la cara. Hay niveles de niveles y yo le voy a mostrar que ese nivel es mucho más superior que el de él.
Bad blood will be settled in Bogota in our co-main event of the evening. Two really bona fide 135ers, extreme experience on one side and all the self-belief in the world on the other. Here he is in Jason Gavirias, 30 years young. About 2 to 3 years ago, he felt he was riding some momentum and was at the peak of his career. Since then, he's tasted some setbacks, but said, listen, I know the record doesn't look pretty, but those are all learning lessons. Those are all obstacles that I had to overcome, and because I grew from them, and I became a better martial artist. In this camp, he focused on nothing but boxing, keeping the hands sharp and the guard up. He does have a big base in Greco and freestyle grappling, but, you know, in this fight, he came to us and said, I want to shut Juan Trujillo up. He thinks that Juan's a big, loudmouth guy, and for whatever reason, and Jason Gavirias has taken issue with him. Scott Davis, he's coming down a weight class. I mean, hasn't been at 135 often in his career, so he will have some physical advantages.
Yeah, he will, but he's, you mentioned his record. He's on a 3-fight skid. He's lost 6 of his last 8. And
usually, we don't, I try and cue guys up the best I can. I would say, hey, he's gotten 2 really good performances in his last 8 fights.
Well, you know what? It's the lawyer.
It's outside of competition, you know, and Jason said to us that he doesn't do much besides training. He is so dedicated to the grind and the lifestyle of martial arts, but did note that he loved anime, is a big One Piece fan. So if there's any Straw Hats watching at home, your boy is entering uncharted waters here, seeking some treasure in the form of Juan Trujillo's undefeated record. It's Jason Gaviria. The ingredients of a superstar all are inside El Patron Juan Trujillo, representing Medellin, Colombia. This undefeated professional mixed martial artist has strung together 3 first-round finishes, his last one coming in July of this year here at Empire Mixed Martial Arts. The big thing that Juan Trujillo said to us ahead of this fight was the strength and conditioning. He has been doing nothing but lifting weights every single day, tacked on another pad session at night, feels in the best shape of his career, and says that, and Jason is large, so I had to get large. I had to get big. And this is the meanest we've ever seen El Patron. After communicating with Mickey Gall over the last couple events, he said that Mickey was able to show him how UFC fighters train, how UFC fighters live, and since that duo have sharpened some tools over the last several months, he's done nothing but replicate it. If I want to be in the UFC, I gotta act like it. I gotta do what they do and replicate. And the big thing that he said before this journey, this transformation, is that he didn't feel like he had that stopping power. He was more of a combination puncher, but when he cracked people, they wouldn't go down. Now he feels, if I touch you, you're going to sleep.
It's a fascinating fight. We've got El Patron, who's on a 9-fight win streak, looking for bigger platforms to head to, and yet he's up against a guy who has a lot of bad blood and almost sort of like rivalry week with college football. Anything can happen.
It's a grudge match at 135. Here's the Burger King tail of the tape from Bogota. It's Jason Gaviria representing Medellin. It's Juan Trujillo. El Patron 3-0 and Jason 3-6. 9 years separate them, with Juan being the younger, and he will suffer a slight height advantage. We send it inside to Denier to get our co-main event underway.
Señores, vamos llegando al final. Y por esto vale la pena quedarse. Permítame presentar en la esquina azul, representando a Bogotá, con un peso de 61.2 kilogramos, 31 años de edad, 1,70 m de estatura, récord, 3 victorias, 6 derrotas, 0 empates, representando a Vll MMA. Él es un prodigio y hoy lo demostrará. Addison, el niño Gaviria. Desde Medellín, la tacita de plata, con 61.2 kilogramos, 25 años de edad, 1.68 de estatura, 3 victorias, 0 derrotas, 0 empates, representando a MMA Colombia, y viene a imponer su autoridad en el octágono. Él es Juan el Patrón Trujillo. Indicaciones técnicas.
Quieren una pelea limpia, choquen guantes y van a chocar y vayan a sus esquinas.
Something has flipped inside Juan Trujillo. It's no longer Juan, it's a demon. It's a madman. It's an entity that only knows chaos, that causes entropy inside the Burger King arena. Valencia, third man in, unsure if we're going to need the judges for this one. And Jason in the blue gloves with the black and yellow. Juan Trujillo in the orange and black with the red gloves. Big collision early, stance switching from El Patron, and Jason worked on the boxing. Let's see if it's improved.
Noticeable size difference. Gaviria is noticeably larger than El Patron.
Patron just so comfortable in the stand-up. You can tell with the fluid movement, the hands low. I mean, he is truly just on another level, especially after the strength and conditioning. And Jason Gaviria coming from that bare knuckle MMA, left high kick, stumbles, and Jason. Don't think the legs are under him. He still looks a bit wobbly to me.
He seems gun-shy too, Gaviria. He looks like he's waiting to get hit.
He's biting on every single feint, and Jason needs to get something going. Does crack the chin right there. Patron, though, trying to pour out some more violence. 4 minutes left in round number 1, and it has been all action.
Trujillo gaining confidence literally as the seconds go by. You can just see.
He said that the left high kick is what he wants, and the left hook is also a powerful weapon. He came here. He wants a highlight reel knockout. Let's see if Patron can get it.
And Patron's so much faster right now than Gaviria. It looks like he throws a punch, and Patron's been out of the way for a second.
Exactly, to your point. And Jason whiffs on a kick right there. Excellent left entry by Patron. And Jason needs to stop taking pictures. He's got to pressure, pressure, pressure. That's what he told us. Up until this point, he hasn't been able to do it. Oh, there's a jab that connects on Patron.
Ooh.
Eye poke right there. Valencia doesn't see it. Trujillo trying to make the most of it.
Yeah, Gaviria may be in trouble now.
There's a good takedown from Jason Gaviria. But Juan gets back to his feet. Again, he's looking real muscular in there, way more than I've ever seen him. Good defense right here. Trying to isolate that left arm of Jason. Now working on the head positioning. Gavieta briefly brings him down, but Trujillo, wise to it. He's getting the best rounds in the world at MMA Colombia. Or at least, well, best rounds in Colombia at that gym.
Well, you know, when you're the Patron, you can spend a lot of time working out, Bane.
I really like the position here from Jason, though. I mean, he's not giving Patron an inch. He's isolating that right leg and preventing Juan from any base building. But Juan breaks it. Now he's got an opportunity.
Yeah, Gaviria seems much more confident and comfortable up against the cage. He really seemed out of sorts earlier in the round on his feet, trying to strike.
It's where that physicality comes into play, and the appearances at larger weight classes in these positions. You can tell the strength inside on Jason. Oh, great reversal by Trujillo, though. Front
watch
headlock.
for the guillotine.
Maybe looking on a Darso right there. How tight is it? Weird positioning. Unsure if Juan can finish it from the bottom, and Jason pops out of it. A lot of fun grappling sequences at bantamweight here. 1 minute, 40 seconds to go. El Patron told us he wants a highlight reel KO finish. He doesn't want a sub.
Yeah, that passage right there has got to be frustrating for Gaviria that he wasn't able to do more on the ground.
Admittedly, I will contest this. Juan told us that anytime that Jason wants to grapple, he's going to suplex him, he's going to hip toss him. Hasn't been able to do that yet. I think Gavieta might be surprising him with the skill. There's a great whizzer by Juan to defend the takedown, find his way back to the feet. 70 seconds remain in round one. And Gavieta, I think, is gradually gaining some confidence.
Yeah, it appears he's bleeding as well out of maybe his left eye.
Definitely a laceration. There's another elbow. That's not going to help.
To help that cause from Patron.
Good rest spot for Juan Trujillo. None of his professional fights have made it out of the second minute of round one. So getting some much needed experience. Another elbow on the inside. Juan Trujillo, though, looks like he might be a little bit stunned on the exit there.
Yes. Well, all right. He looks like he's regained his composure.
Leg kick there from Trujillo. Gavieta, big winging overhand. Now Patron on the takedown attempt. Tries to lift him up with the single. Can't run the pipe. Digs down, trying to repeat exactly what Gavieta was doing. Does suck out the hips. Good work from Patron.
Well, Patron is a guy who likes to get it to the ground.
Yep.
He's comfortable there.
Lots of submissions, some ground and pound finishes on the record of Juan. Now takes the back here, final seconds of round one.
Well, all right.
Interesting first round, though. Seemed like Gavieta was stunned early, Juan stunned late. Lawyer's perspective, round one, let's see it.
Well, I think you got to give this to Patron this round. He was more active. He had the better highlight reel. And we'll see what Gaviria can do. I think he's going to need to take it more to the ground in the next round. He seemed really unable to solve Patron's striking.
Juan Trujillo looking pretty okay in the corner there. Maybe he didn't anticipate this one getting out of the first round. Would definitely like to take a look over on Jason's corner. Seems like he's got his mouth open, taking a few deep breaths. Bare Knuckle MMA, what an amazing group that is for Jason to get time at. Headed by, I'm gonna wait a moment before I'm looking at the notes right here.
That's interesting. You got Patron who's standing between the rounds and Gaviria just getting up off the bench. He does look like his breathing is a little labored.
So, Bare Knuckle MMA head coach John Zarate, who was such a pioneer back in the day for bare knuckle combat sports. They're bringing the broom in, a little bit of excess agua in the adjacent corner. Juan Patron extended to a second round for the first time in his professional career. And Jason Gavieta was able to stun him once. We'll see if he can do it again to Patron.
Let's see what Gaviria can do now. Does he have a different answer?
Again, the head kick from Patron. That's what he wants us to look out for. Seems like something might be off with the footwork of El Patron, or maybe some damage we didn't see, but some great leg kicks from him there. Beautiful. Too many of those, and he's not going to be moving too well. Good defense in the pocket. Patron, hands down, just moving the chin.
A great movement by Patron. Have you ever gotten your calf kicked?
I have. It hurts. Oh, and Jason Gaviera briefly stunned. There's a kick upstairs. Juan Trujillo, left hook, comes through. Love the combos, just rips upstairs and downstairs.
Gaviria throwing bombs and now getting him up against the cage seems to be inserting his will.
50-50 here, over under position. Juan Trujillo showed a lot of elbows in this phone booth in round number 1. Now he's just opting for knees to the midsection. Gaviera didn't like that. Great pummeling from both guys here.
It's interesting that Gaviria doesn't seem to have an advantage on the cage. Trujillo's the one taking it to him, even though he would seem to have the size advantage.
Another knee to the midsection, and Jason, I don't like the body language.
No,
Trujillo,
I think he's in trouble.
Taking his time in here. El Patron again wants the walk-off. He wants the highlight reel. Can he get it? Interesting takedown entry, and Jason goes down.
Yeah, I would have liked Patron to stay on his feet and throw more bombs, because I think maybe Gaviria was maybe a few shots away from really being in trouble there. Now he's giving him a chance to rest.
A lot of ground and pound from Patron.
It does feel like a lot of energy has gone out of Gaviria's tank, doesn't it?
And especially in this position now, wearing the weight of a heavy Trujillo. This is a different kind of hangover that Jason Gaviera is going to be experiencing against Patron Trujillo.
It's like Trujillo trying to get that rear naked choke.
He's got a number of submissions on the record already.
He's getting position.
And Jason fighting.
There we go.
That's deep. That could be it. Hand is tucked.
I think this one's over.
And Jason doing his best, but Trujillo mixes up the grip. Patron stretching him out. What does Jason have? So far, Gaviera defending it, but that right arm of Juan Trujillo is bad news.
Patron doing a great job of softening him up.
And Jason breaks the grip now. Gets a moment, but that body lock is just sucking his lungs into it now. Juan trying again with that right arm.
Great work by Gaviria, though, to stay in this and to get out of this position so far.
He's finding the hands nicely, but his success is fading.
Well, the problem is the energy level. How many more times can he do this?
And for Juan Trujillo, same thing could be said. You're squeezing, building up a lot of lactic acid, and Jason Gaviera is still here.
If I'm Gaviera, I'm saying if I can get through the next minute 20 and get him into the third round, anything might happen.
If he wants to break that body lock, he's got to rotate to the opposite side, put Juan's heel onto the canvas, and make some space for him to turn in. He's defending the rear naked choke nicely, but moving to that direction, he's not going to get out of the body lock. Juan can keep that and just stretch and compress the midsection all night long. 60 seconds to go.
Well, and as the seconds tick by in this second round, so are the points. And the opportunities for Gaviria.
Gaviria finding the hands again, but Trujillo just intent on the campaign of squeezing the life out of Jason. Again, I'd really advise him to rotate and put that heel on the opposite side. He's trying to get his shoulders to the canvas, which is a good strategy, but that heel is on the wrong side on Jason.
So he either maybe doesn't know specifically how to get out, or he doesn't have the energy to get out.
Or he doesn't have the energy, yeah. And again, as a play-by-play, I usually am not giving out the technical
Well, I was going to say,
breakdown.
I feel like as a lawyer, it's something I can comment on.
Final 10 seconds of what was a dominating El Patron round. Now he's trying to maybe move to the top. Credit to Jason for wearing that and surviving. There it is, right at the end.
Right at the end. So we'll be interested to see what the body language looks like between rounds, but you got to feel it's certainly 2 rounds to nothing. Patron and Gaviria may be looking at needing a finish.
Here's some round 2 highlights. Juan El Patron Trujillo just on him like a backpack, snaking his arms underneath the chin, trying to find that sub. All credit to Jason, who is well-versed in finding the hands, breaking the grip, and alleviating the pressure, but just unable to get out of it. You know, it's that position right there, when you have someone's back, is still unbelievably dominant, still gaining points. Now, in my opinion, Jason needs a finish.
Well, and if I'm in Gaviria's corner, I'm telling him, great job. You got out of what looked like a fight-ending series, and now you've got him to the 3rd round into a place where Patron has not been. So, I mean, you know, he's still in this.
Juan Patron went to a decision in December of 2019. Since then, he has never made it out of the 1st round.
You getting hungry?
I'm starving. I think I've got a tapeworm, actually, because I've got just like excruciating hunger the entire time I've been here.
Every time they show that Burger King logo, I get hungry.
3rd and final round of our co-main event, El Patron, Juan Trujillo, and Jason Gaviera. Good show of respect and, you know, sportsmanship there from each guy. Juan Trujillo disliked him coming into it, but now seems like there's some respect established.
Maybe they're burying the hatchet.
Oh, big shots from Patron as he walks into this clinching position. Big knee to the midsection. Another one.
So what do you think Gaviria needs to do here? I mean, should he
Just
clinch
like that,
on the cage? Or?
Reverse, and I would say break. I'd say separate and wing, try and set up a fight-ending shot, because he's not going to win on the scorecards.
I don't think he can win by a submission. We just saw what happened in the last round. So, yeah, he's going to need to throw some bombs.
Trying to dig deep for this takedown is certainly an interesting idea. Juan Trujillo's takedown defense has been pretty sublime through 3 rounds, but maybe Jason feels like he's finding some success.
And if I'm Patron, I'm happy to just let the clock run.
Patron, beautiful transitional work right here, just riding the hips, utilized that whizzer perfectly several moments ago. And again, I mean, he came into this fight week fired up as usual, wants the sensational highlight reel finish, but looks like he's content to maybe try and tap him out. A little high here in this position.
I'm surprised that Patron, he has had success on the ground, obviously, but he's much fresher.
Armbar.
Gaviria.
Very big armbar threat right here, and Jason needs to be incredibly mindful of how he moves. Not out of the woods yet. High elevation is El Patron, but looks like he's got a pretty solid grip on that arm. Looks like Jason now out of the danger zone on top. Let's see what he can do. Final 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Gaviria is running out of time.
Juan Trujillo just trying to escape through the back here, crawl all the way through maybe. There's some good work by Jason Gaviera. Hopping onto the back almost. Patron wise to it. Juan Trujillo.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised that Gaviria he's over by his corner. I'm surprised they're not telling him to break it off.
And Jason just pushing Juan Patron into the canvas here, trying to get to the back, but not finding it. With 2 minutes to go, agree, maybe some separation and a big combo against the cage.
Well, it's obvious that Gaviria, he's not able to muscle Patron the way he wants to, and the clock's running. We're down to 1 minute 45.
And Patron here, I mean, neutralizing damage, but still getting controlled here. Certainly adjusting to the new muscle mass he's put on. Referee Valencia wants some more action here.
Patron seems to be running the clock, would you say?
Oh, there's a roll right there from Trujillo. Interesting spot up against the cage. And Jason could maybe look at that. Beautiful work by Juan, and Jason just muscles him back down, takes the top position. This is an unfamiliar spot for Juan Trujillo.
Well, and this is Gaviria's opportunity, his last opportunity to do something in this fight, and he's going to need a finish.
And Jason has 1 minute, not doing a lot of ground and pound. We'll see if that changes.
He's got the position he wants, but he needs to get busy.
I completely agree. Juan opening, closing the guard, just trying to minimize damage, throwing some elbows off his back. Doesn't seem too content to get back to the feet or work his way back up. Final 20 seconds, and Jason yet to really posture up and try and finish this fight.
Well, Trujillo, I think, showing a great ground game and defense that he's really neutralized Gaviria. He's not been able to do anything.
Final 10 seconds, our co-main event looks to go the distance as El Patron Juan Trujillo meets the scorecards for the first time as a professional. I think that there were a lot of challenges in Jason Gaviria that Juan maybe wasn't anticipating. Here's some round 3 highlights, and a lot of it was that control from Jason.
Well, it seemed like throughout the entire fight that Gaviria had trouble answering Patron on his feet, his feints, his movements, his striking. And then when it went to the ground in the second round, he was lucky to get out of that rear naked choke, but just wasn't able to mount any offense tonight.
Juan Trujillo, by all accounts, likely going to remain undefeated and progress to 4-0, get some much needed cage time, in my opinion. I mean, there's nothing more valuable than going the full 15 with a guy who's had 9 pro fights.
Decisión dividida y suma su 4ª victoria, Juan el Patrón Trujillo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Juan Trujillo. El Patron, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing, bro. This is a great test for me. This is a great test for me in my career. I haven't gone to the 3rd round probably 4 years. So I'm glad that I'm able to experience this. I know I will be able to finish the 1st or the 2nd, but I think nerves, and I don't know what else. He was extremely durable, so I feel in the 3rd round I was feeling a little tired, not gonna lie, but it's not because my preparation, just he was good.
I know you wanted that spectacular finish. You had him rocked in the first round, nearly had the rear naked choke in round 2. What surprised you about Jason?
How was surprised that was a fucking split decision? He just won 1 round. What the fuck is a split decision there? I should have won the 3 rounds, or 2 rounds, and lost the 3rd one easy. That was a unanimous decision, but fuck it, I win. I was surprised of how durable he was. Honestly, in the 2nd round, when I rocked him, I thought he was going, so I'm like, this is it, I won. And the 3rd, he came fast and strong, so I was like, what the fuck is going on here? That was surprised me.
El Patron, you're 4-0 as a pro, closing out the year successfully. What's next?
Next that fucking bill. Next I want Hinks and Ares, or give me another veteran. I want Mauricio Kendo. I want Mauricio Kendo. I respect him, but once I tapped him out like 7 times in a round. He's a black belt. He ain't trying to fuck up my wrist, so when I get my wrist back. So Kendo, you're next.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Juan El Patron Trujillo!
Hello, baby!
Listo, nos preparamos para lo que hemos esperado durante esta noche. De antemano queremos agradecer la asistencia, la compañía de todos ustedes. Y les voy a decir algo. Lo que viene a continuación vale la pena esperarlo el tiempo que sea. Y llegó el momento, y ustedes van a ser testigos de las MMA en su máxima expresión. Nos vamos con nuestra pelea estelar.
We have arrived at our main event of the evening, a true flyweight clash of titans between Jonathan Insignatus and Juan Carlos Cheeky Miranda in his return from his defeat in his flyweight championship match this March.
La preparación para esta pelea fue extremadamente ardua. 3, 4 jornadas al día, haciendo énfasis en grappling. Sabemos que tenemos un oponente bastante fuerte en el piso, entonces hicimos un énfasis en la parte de grappling, aunque sabemos que no podemos descuidar la parte de striking, que es nuestro fuerte. Mi mayor cualidad como peleador es la actitud de combate. Casi todas mis peleas acaban en el primer, segundo asalto. Esta pelea la debo ganar porque me lo merezco, y además de eso estoy homenajeando a un amigo que en este momento ya no está conmigo, pero voy a hacer esta pelea en homenaje a él y en homenaje a mi familia, entonces sí o sí debo ganar. Mi mensaje para mi oponente: no descanse un solo día, no descanse una sola hora, porque yo no lo estoy haciendo. Debe entrenar súper fuerte, yo no tengo nada que perder, entonces la voy a dar toda. Espero que también la des toda, entonces nos veremos en la jaula.
La preparación está siendo muy rigurosa, estamos metiéndole trabajo duro en todas las áreas, tanto striking, grappling, en todo lo que podemos, en el trabajo mental. Estamos haciendo muy buen camp, y tengan por seguro que va a salir chispas del octágono ese día, no se lo pierdan porque va a estar candeleado. Mi mayor cualidad como peleador es sencillo, la confianza. Creemos 100% en el equipo, creemos 100% en el trabajo que estamos haciendo, y vamos a ir a dar un show imperdible. El trabajo duro está hecho, simplemente Dios da sus mejores batallas a sus mejores guerreros, y indudablemente a los que trabajamos duro se nos dan las cosas, es de merecer. El mensaje para hoy es que salgamos a darlo todo, a dar un buen show. Somos artistas marciales y esto es para ustedes, para las personas, así que no parpadeen, les aseguro fireworks en esa jaula.
returning to action, Juan Carlos Chiqui Miranda, and many are so excited to see how one of the most affable fighters looks in his response to his first finish in his career. But he's got another unbelievable challenge in the form of Jonathan Insignatis, currently riding a 3-fight win streak, 2 of which first-round submissions, both in the first round. Representing Bogota, Colombia, Jonathan Insignatis feels like he's just on a different level. Says, in all aspects of mixed martial arts, I beat him, I best him, I bury him. Jonathan is not intending on going to the scorecards. He wants to make it back-to-back finishes and extend the record to 4-1 in what is more than likely a title eliminator here in Bogota.
Yeah, well, something's going to have to give in this match tonight, Bane. You've got Insignatis, as you mentioned, on a 3-fight winning streak. Chique is won 3 of 4. And both of these guys like to get it done on the ground via rear naked choke. So we'll see how this plays out.
Jonathan Insignatis got to maybe watch the playbook of what bests Juan Carlos Miranda in March of this year. I imagine he's going to come in and look incredibly grapple heavy and thwart all of Chiqui's attempts.
It's interesting too, Insignatis is last 3 out of 4 fights didn't make it out of the first round. 2 wins in the first round, 1 loss in the first round. So
the only loss that Insignatis has as a pro was way back in June of 2022 to Jason Gaviera, who we just saw how high level he is.
Yeah.
Now, for the second time in Empire MMA, it's Jonathan Insignatis.
And the crowd going bananas. He's got El Loco, maybe is a better way to say it, here in Bogota. A lot of fans here, followers for Insignatis. I anticipate him taking this one to the ground as soon as he can.
He is a demon, a madman inside the octagon. It's Juan Carlos El Chiqui Miranda, coming off of his title defeat to El Lobo Ronald Vasquez in March of 2023. He says, I have evolved in all aspects. That fight, Lobo didn't make weight, didn't have to expend the energy that I did, and it wasn't reflective of what it should have been potentially. He had a couple fights that fell apart, was supposed to fight in October, so he said he's been in camp since effectively May, and within that has just upgraded the game. Feels that he's still gonna stick to his patented style of the low hands, the crisp counter-striking and boxing, but if it hits the mat, El Chiqui promises a submission victory.
Well, in fact, his last win was by a guillotine in the first round. But he does it a number of different ways. Fight before that, ground and pound stoppage in the second round. So he wins a lot of different ways, got a lot of weapons.
3 out of his 4 wins are finishes. The only time he went to a decision was in May of 2015 when he got his hand raised. Fighting out of Bogota, Colombia, outside of the cage. He's an oil engineer, does a lot of work with petroleum. His family, all petroleum engineers as well, but has pulled back from that trick of the trade to focus on the fight camp and potentially make a run for something bigger in Latin America. 32 years young, he feels like it is his time. And with a win here, another title fight could be in the near future of Juan Carlos El Chiqui Miranda. We take it for the final time to the Burger King table. Does that take Jonathan Insignatis from Bogota, as is El Chiqui. 3-1 for Insignatis, 4-2 for El Chiqui Miranda. 34 years young for Insignatis, 32 for Chiqui. We send it inside to Denier.
The crowd is deafening.
Párele atención o préstele atención a lo que le voy a decir. Esto es una guerra territorial. Nada más y nada menos que Bogotá contra Soacha. Y hoy veremos quién es el ganador. Permítame presentar, representando, nadie mejor que él, a Soacha, con un peso de 56.7 kilogramos, 34 años de edad, 1 metro con 72 centímetros de estatura, un récord profesional de 3 victorias, 1 derrota, 0 empates, representando a Soacha Combat Zone. Él es Jonathan García Exinares. Y representando a Bogotá, de 56.7 kilogramos, 32 años de edad, una estatura de 1 metro con 65 kilogramos, 4 victorias, 2 derrotas, 0 empates, representando a Octagon MMA. Para mí es un orgullo presentar a Juan Carlos el Chiqui Lama.
Absolutely deafening.
Se decidirá quién es mejor, quién se queda con ese título territorial, Soacha o Bogotá. Indicaciones técnicas.
Chicos, ya saben las reglas, quiero una pelea limpia, quiero que todo el tiempo estén trabajando, choquen, vuelten y van a chocar y a sus esquinas.
Preparados.
These guys have not stopped making eye contact with each other since they entered the octagon. Valencia, third man in for our main event, the return of Juan Carlos El Chiqui Miranda and Jonathan Insignatus standing in his way. You know, I want to make a quick mention right off the bat. To know how nice of a guy Juan Carlos is, he was the translator for our one-on-one interview with Jonathan Insignatus as Juan Carlos eats a big right hand there. El Chiqui briefly stumbled. Ooh, another right over the top.
Nice combo by Insignatus.
El Chiqui responds with a smile. If you watched his fight back in March, that demonic expression it just doesn't leave his face in there. He's a man possessed, but Insignatus is a man with power, Scott.
Well, he's stalking El Chiqui right now, and he's dictating the pace.
Big takedown. El Chiqui told us it's going to hit the mat. It took him less than a minute.
Yeah, we knew he was going to get it to the ground as soon as he could.
Juan Carlos Miranda, a black belt under Carlos Quintero, who is a heavily touted black belt practitioner himself. 4 minutes with which to work. Jonathan Valencia eliciting some verbal communication. Unsure what it was then. Carlos with a couple elbows. Each guy with a win here could really make some waves and move to the next level. Miranda in full mount. This is horrible.
Chiqui trying to get into good position, and he's working his way up.
Oh, Valencia just putting the fingers all over the toes of Insignatus. And Jonathan Insignaris, to his credit, not making a lot of mistakes here. I mean, being real economical about his movement. He understands the risk versus reward of having a guy like Juan Carlos Miranda on top of you.
Yeah, and he's obviously looking for the elbows. He needs to be careful. El Chique trying to deliver them.
Looking for maybe the head and arm. Insignaris wrapping the right over the top of the head. That's not really going to help him all that much. You can see he's trying to regain half guard over on that left leg of his, but Juan Carlos just pins it down, takes mount back. Fish out of water almost in the first couple minutes. Insignaris has just been nullified.
Well, and he's
cut.
Expending a lot of energy right now, and does look like he's cut. He is cut.
Massive laceration on the forehead of Jonathan Insignaris, and in a horrible spot too. I mean, that blood's just going to go right into his eyes. But
he got it off. Beautiful move.
What a reversal from Insignaris. Cage crawled and jumped like a prime Tony Hawk. 2 minutes with which to go in round number 1. Juan Carlos elevating here, right foot on the hip. Insignaris brings him back to the feet. Wise decision, in my opinion.
Good move, I agree. He had a lot more success on his feet earlier in the round.
El Chique, it's a big knee right there.
Huge knee.
But pushes right through it. That cut certainly not doing Insignaris any favors. Just over 70 seconds remains, and you can see Chique trying to begin the building blocks of the head and arm, but the position on the cage is going to work against him, especially with him being in half guard on that far side.
Insignaris, now you can see bleeding fairly heavily on the canvas.
A little bit more urgency from Jonathan to get back to the feet here.
Well, there may be some urgency for him in this fight, given the cuts.
True. Doctor stoppages do exist. But this is a controlling position here from Chique.
It's going to be interesting to see how much gas comes out of the tank for Insignaris.
The back's been taken. El Chique with a minute to go. Wrapping the left arm around. Insignaris has that right one locked down, I believe. Nope, lets it go. Chique finding the grip. This is bad news for Jonathan Insignaris. That's deep.
He may be in trouble, and there's a lot of time left.
He's trying to stay composed, but El Chique Miranda tightening.
He's in trouble. He's
got
him spread out.
Getting deeper. He's fighting the hands beautifully, has that right arm of Chique, but
20 seconds.
Jonathan Insignaris!
He's out, I think.
Will he tap? Yes, he does! The return of El Chique Miranda with a first round submission. Don't get it twisted. This is still his house. Unreal.
Insignaris is just completely dejected over there on the other side of the cage, understandably.
Beautiful response to some adversity early, and Juan Carlos renders him nearly unconscious with that vice grip of a rear naked choke. Valencia, great separation and good refereeing. I mean, boy, when you thought about what you wanted to see from Chique Miranda coming off the heels of that March title fight, it's this. It's a first round sub.
Yes.
Wow.
You know, it's the old thing. You know his playbook. You know what he's going to run, but you can't stop it with this rear naked choke. Beautiful technique. Spread him out, stretched him.
And made it deeper by alternating off to that side, too.
And Insignaris.
a nuestro ganador de la pelea estelar de Empire en su 7ª versión y un representante capitalino a más no poder. Señores, nuestro ganador por sumisión vía Mataleones, el Chiqui Miranda. Y Bogotá hoy sale ganadora.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Juan Carlos El Chiqui Miranda. Chiqui, how are you feeling?
I feel amazing right now. I'm so happy, so excited to return to the octagon right now. So thanks for Empire MMA, everybody for come here. Thank you so much. Favela venceu, vocês sabem, né?
Ah! First round submission. Is this how you chalked it up? Is this what you wanted to do here?
Yeah, definitely. We visualized this thing a lot with my head coach, Pablo Hernandez. Amazing job for here. Please get a noise for Pablo Hernandez. And also my psychologist, Silver Fox. We drill in my mind this shit like 1,000 times. Also in the backstage, I make it the same time. I say, I'm gonna take him down. I'm gonna cut the face of him, and then I'm gonna choke him out. And that's it. That was the whole game plan. So thanks so much, everybody, for coming here. Muchas gracias a todo el mundo por venir.
Ah! Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, your winner, Juan Carlos El Chiqui Miranda.
And right now, you know, it's time to party, baby, you know.
Bueno, para todas las delegaciones que hoy nos visitaron y también en voz, escúcheme bien, en voz de también representando a la ciudad de Medellín, queremos decirle señores, ustedes me van a escuchar y me van a responder a lo que yo les voy a decir. Recuerde, quiero que me acompañen a lo que les voy a decir. Hoy nos demostraron que la capital es potencia de las MMA. Y me responde a esto, señores, Bogotá es una chimba. Felicitaciones, la mejor de las noches. Eso sí, y me regalan un aplauso para todos ustedes. Qué público tan bacano. Obviamente a nuestros referees, a nuestros jueces.
Amazing night of fights here in Bogotá. Carlos El Chiqui Miranda, first round submission over Jonathan Insignares. Welcome back to the win column for that 125er. Scott Davis, how you feeling?
Well, this tremendous energy tonight in Bogotá in the arena. Just a remarkable night, Bane, especially spending it with you and being in the booth. I get to go back to being a lawyer on Monday, but had a wonderful time. And some of the Bogotá fighters, they had a huge night. El Chique, Laura Cañon, and I'm sure a few others, but quite a night.
Excellent performances. Thank you again to Luke Thomas for allowing us to stream and broadcast Empire MMA 7 onto your platform. For myself, Ben the Bane Davis, Hector Castro, and Scott Davis, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time in 2024.
The champion, kind of unify that belt tonight.